they light the flame. Cigars in hand, never playing tame. And pour the whiskey, let it burn real slow. On the Real Smoke Podcast, the stories flow. Guess they're rolling with a spark in their eyes, talking life's truths and throwing lies. Laughter crackles like a fire alive. Cuba to Kentucky, they always thrive. Real smoke rises in the air tonight. Whiskey's bold, they keep it tight. Stories spark like a flaming glow. Mick and Charles stealing the show.
Welcome to the Real Smoke Podcast with your host, Mick and Charles, the podcast that's all about real people, real cigars, and real smoke. Coming to you live from the Real Smoke Virtual Cigar Lounge, bringing you the best of cigars, whiskey, and all the good times in between. This is more than just a podcast, it's a community of cigar lovers. So grab your favorite smoke, pour a drink, and join us as we dive into all things cigars, whiskey, and just having a damn good time. This is the Real Smoke Podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 35 of the Real Smoke Podcast. We are your hosts. That guy over there's Mick, and I'm Charles, and we are super stoked and excited to bring you into season number 3. We're back, baby. What's up, Mick?
Not much, brother. Good to see you.
Good to see you. It's been a little while, it feels. So, before we get things started, let's talk to the lovely people at Cigar Vault.
The Real Smoke Podcast is brought to you by the Cigar Vault Oakdale.
Hey, Real Smoke family, it's Norm with the Cigar Vault Oakdale, a small boutique shop located out in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. If you're in the area, stop on in, or you can find us online at www.thecigarvault.com. And today with me I have the one and the only Miguel. Yeah, that's him. That's what he looks like right here in the flesh. Our smoke of the week, and this one was really easy for us by far. We went through our initial allocation of Caldwell's Yellow Cakes. You have them in the Habano and the Maduro. They're available Robusto and a Corona size. The Robusto, it's a 5-pack for $33. The Corona is a 5-pack for $28. Great bang for your buck. Fantastic smoke. It was released one time last year, and then we got another allocation that came into us. Really, really easy for us to pick. This is the cigar of the week for you all. Really appreciative of Mick and Charles at the Real Smoke. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Real Smoke family, always appreciate you guys showing up and showing out for us. Genuinely, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We truly appreciate you. Thank you, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Huge thanks to Norm and Miguel. You guys are awesome. We love having you part of the Real Smoke family. And make sure that you are using that code RealSmoke to save you 10% on all your goodies. So, as we said, welcome to season 3, dude.
Season 3, man. I'm going to start off season 3 by saying we're so freaking blessed, man. We have so many great sponsors. That opener that I know you switched some stuff up there recently. It is awesome, man. It really highlights how lucky we are, with the sponsors we have, man. These people really care about what we're doing. We care about what they're doing. Hopefully we're giving back to them what they're giving to us, man. But it's amazing. What a great bunch of people.
100%. I mean, we're not even a year yet. We're still babies. And our following's growing. We're loving it. We're enjoying it. We love doing what we're doing. We love meeting the people that we get to meet. And, it's one thing to get sponsors on board, but it's another thing that people that aren't sponsors and trying to sell anything, and they're jumping on board with us. So our Patreon, as you saw on there, is small but growing. So guys, if you are interested in joining and helping us out, check into our Patreon group. We're going to be revamping things again, but join us on our Patreon. We would love to have that support on you as well.
Absolutely. Well said. So how was that vacation last week, brother?
It was extremely fun, extremely needed, and extremely hot. We always go down to the Charleston area, and we decided that we were going to pick the hottest day of the year, or the hottest week of the year to be down there. Wednesday actual temperature was 105. Heat index is 115. If you were downtown Charleston on the street, it was 125. But average actual temperature ranged 95 to 101, heat index 100 to 110 every day that we were there. So it was incredibly hot. So we spent a lot of time visiting our friends over at Cigars on 17 and Cigars on Maybank. Absolutely love that shop, those shops. It's owned by the same guy. So we spent a lot of time in there after we were dead from the heat. So we go in there and just chill and smoke.
You definitely
it was good.
Earned some time, brother. You definitely earned some time. I'm actually taking a few days. I leave tomorrow morning, so I'm going to try not to drink too much of this bourbon that's sitting beside me. I leave at 4:30, 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. I am going to Pensacola for 4 days to visit one of my best friends and spend a little time on the boat. And I'm also on Saturday going to try to visit our sponsors, the Hayes Gray Boys. So stay tuned for that.
Very cool. That's awesome. As you can see, I'm not wearing the podcast hat. Speaking of Hayes Gray, I'm wearing their hat. We've officially kicked off the second round of Hat Palooza. So, guys, if you don't know and you haven't seen what Hat Palooza is, we have different brands who send us 2 different hats. I will wear one on the show and wear one around, and then we take the other one, which is this nice black one, all blacked out. Looks like a Mick kind of hat, but it's not fitted, so it's not a Mick hat. But we put that on our Instagram and do a raffle to give it away to somebody. It's our way to get something out to the people who support us, but it's also a way to get, different brands out there. So in the past, we've had cigar accessory companies send some hats, a bunch of cigar companies. We've had whiskey companies send hats. So if any of our brand people are listening out there and you're interested in jumping in on this one, just hit me up and we will work on getting your hats out to some people. It's just our way of having fun and connecting with the audience. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing that was on my list too, and it seems like I'm just talking about sponsors over and over again, but I know we'll talk about it later. But Robert, one of our TriStar brothers and the best damn knives on the market, cigar cutters. He is now one of our segment sponsors. So we'll talk about that probably a little bit more later in the show. But wanted to bring that up, Robert. We couldn't be happier, man. We we love you and we love what you're doing, and the video is phenomenal. So stay tuned for that.
Robert did want me to tell everybody that he is going to go one more month of all the proceeds. If anybody buys one of his knives, he is going to give the proceeds to Silent Heroes Foundation, whatever foundation that they're giving money to this month for PTSD awareness. He's going to give his proceeds to that as well. So if anybody's interested in a quality American-made, as you'll see in his video, American-made cigar knife, hit him up and he will work something out with you. So really quickly, let's go into some comments. We got a bunch of people on here tonight. John says, hiya, Uncle Mitch. Let's see. JD's on here. He says, what's up, fam? Greg's on here. He's one of our big time winners. He said, what's up, fan? See Mick survive Devin's wife. Yes, I don't think little Debbie probably got in a little trouble after the last herf. That was pretty good. JD is on here. He says, cracking my Penelope cigar blend tonight. Hold on to that one, because if anybody's got any of the Penelope cigar blend or any Penelope, hold on to a drink. We're going to do a toast here in a little bit. Let's see what else. Just a couple people on here. New Zealand is in the house. He says, what's up to his New Zealand friends? John says, it was a dry heat. Nothing in Charleston gives you a dry heat. As the kids say, it was moist. Robert's on here. He says he is doing all of his cigar knives for the Nookie.
Hell's yes.
All right, so there's a bunch of people putting on there. If you want to, you are more than welcome to put in on Instagram, or not on Instagram, I'm sorry, on Facebook or YouTube. If you type in #RealSmoke, you have a chance to win one of 2 $25 gift cards from the Cigar Vault in Oakdale. All you got to do is put that in the comments, and we will get that going. Let's see. We do need to go into our cigar. We are smoking something special tonight, and we did want to smoke something from one of our guests tonight, but we made the call to not do that because we couldn't pick one brand over the other. We're trying to not get one of them mad at us tonight, even though by the end of the night, they may be mad at us. They may hate us and never want to come back on here, but we wanted to keep it pretty simple. So let's go ahead and talk about tonight's cigar, and it is brought to you by our people over at Smoke In Cigar of the Month Club. Get 5 premium cigars delivered to your door every month. Discover hidden gems, classic favorites, and exclusive blends selected just for you. Use code RSNEW now to claim your free Smoke In torch lighter and a perfect cutter. So huge thanks to everybody over at Smoke In Cigar of the Month Club. Make sure you use that code RSNEW to get your free gift, and it also lets them know that you heard it from us. Mick, I'll let you go ahead and introduce the cigar we are smoking.
Yeah, tonight we're smoking the Tatawahe. Dress, is that spelled right? I thought it was the Reserva.
No, it was supposed to be Reserva, but somehow that T got in there, and I didn't catch it till just now.
Cool, and I thought you were really just trying to fuck me up because that happens from time to time. The Reserva K222 broadleaf, the wrapper Connecticut broadleaf, binder Nicaraguan, filler Nicaraguan, price around $14. You can find these cigars at the Cigar Vault in Oakdale.
And again, use that code to save on that one. By the way, here in a week or so, we have a big announcement coming from Cigar Vault about a big project that we are going to be doing with them. So stay tuned for that one. We were hoping to get that announcement made today, but we will make that announcement next week. So let's see. We do have, before we bring on our guests, and we do have a lot of them, a shit ton of them. Before we bring on our guest, let's talk about our sponsor for tonight. Tonight's guest is brought to you by Destination Cigars. Step into the world of cigars like never before at Destination Cigar Lounge, home of the exclusive Destino cigar brand. Whether you are kicking back at Governor's Crossing in Sevierville, Tennessee, savoring the vibes at New River in Beckley, West Virginia, or soaking up the rich aroma at Almost Havana in Hurricane, West Virginia, every visit is an adventure. From top-tier cigars to expert recommendations and a laid-back atmosphere, it's the perfect place to relax, connect, and enjoy the craft. If you are looking for bold and unforgettable flavors, escape to the world of Destino cigars. Kick back with the rich Mexican San Andreas Dividend, enjoy the smooth intrigue of the censored Sumatra, or fire up the bold and flavorful Escape Habano. For more information, you can follow them on Instagram at destination_cigars, or you can explore more by visiting them online at destinationcigarlounge.com, or take a journey to one of their 3 locations in West Virginia and Tennessee. No matter where your cigar journey takes you, every blend is an experience worth savoring. Where the road ends, the perfect smoke begins at Destination Cigars. And just like that, the room is full. Look, everybody just shows up at once. Guys, check your mics. Make sure you're on. We'd like to welcome everybody on here. We got Josh and Cynn on here. It looks like we've got Lee on here, Donnie's on here, and Matt's on here. What's up, everybody?
Hello, hello.
How's it going?
What's going on, everybody?
Well, we want to thank everybody for jumping on here, and we are on here for a special occasion because, as you all can see, we have a big Penelope bottle up on the screen, and the screen usually doesn't look like that, so it kind of looks like we're going to be talking about something very special tonight. But before we do that one, let's go ahead and let everybody introduce themselves so everybody gets to know. You guys all see the same screen that we do, so we'll start with Cynn and work our way all the way around.
Hey, I'm Cynn Coburn, owner of Dissident Cigars, and this is my husband, Joshua Coburn, co-owner of Dissident Cigars. Here with you guys today to talk about some interesting stuff.
Awesome.
What's up, everybody? I'm Lee Marsh, owner of Stolen Throne Cigars. Happy to be here.
Donnie Davis, huge Penelope fan, many years.
Hello, everyone. I'm Matt Warder. I'm from Penelope Bourbon from the brand perspective. So nice to meet everyone.
All righty. Well, welcome.
Yeah, good introduction, guys. I know we all kind of know who you are, but I will say, like, I don't get nervous going into these anymore. But tonight, I could not plan for having 5 or 6 people on the screen at the same time. So I am mildly nervous going into this because I'm like, I just got to see where this goes. But no, we're happy to have you and excited to see where it leads us.
As somebody who's over here pushing all the buttons and doing the producing, I'm extremely nervous because this computer has been known to drop internet, so I will end up disappearing for some reason. So it's kind of interesting, and we hope that everything goes smoothly tonight. So before we get started, anybody got their Penelope with them? And if anybody's watching, if you've got your Penelope with you, go ahead and grab your pour. This is the kickoff to our season 3, and to all of our guests, we'd like to say a cheers to you guys for being on here. And I'd like to give a big cheers to my brother out there as well, who's joining me on this awesome podcast. So cheers to everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That's nice.
Oh, yeah.
So, guys, we're not going to go into the deep background like we always do with all of our guests because we would be here all night. But I would love to know how you guys ended up meeting to be able to get together to do this. So how did the idea of coming up with this start? Well, first, let's do this. What are we drinking?
Let's all point to Donnie.
It was Donnie's fault.
I notice all of our fingers are going, we must be all like rearranged on the screen.
I know, we're all going
Donnie's
different ways.
So, Matt, I'll go with you first. What are we drinking tonight?
Yeah, so this is Penelope's Cigar Sessions Chapter 1. And to kick it off, I love that everyone was pointing different directions. I'm sure I was pointing somewhere randomly. But one thing the cool thing about Penelope is that we've always been about friends and community and family. Okay, that's our whole ethos. And fun fact, most of our sort of blending sessions or ideation or innovation or whatever you want to call it, that usually happens between about 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. in the morning, right? Because you're busy running a business during the day. And Donnie knows this well because we would call Donnie at like midnight and be like, hey, Donnie, how's it going? And Donnie's like, in bed right now. But actually, this was this is all credit to Donnie. I'm gonna really, Cynn started pointing down straight away, and she's absolutely spot on with this. So we were on a phone one night, and we love throwing different ideas around. And we've known Donnie from the outset of the brand, just been a phenomenal supporter. But here's the most important thing: as with everybody on this live tonight, it's friendship, it's friends, it's community, it's getting together, and quite frankly, it's all about enjoying a pour, a really great cigar, and just enjoying life, right? So Donnie's been very in the bourbon space, but equally as important in what he does in the cigar realm. So through some conversations, I think, Donnie, we got to the point where we were like, hey, it'd be really cool to do a cigar batch. Here's the thing. When you do cigar batches, there's a traditional way of doing it. And then there's the rip the book up. Let's throw everything out the window that you could ever conceive about this. And if everyone's going right, we're just going to go left.
Yes.
And that's honestly how this thing got started. So Donnie can probably kind of go from there because we came from a world, and just a little bit of history on the brand. We're not from the liquor industry, not even close. We're really good at actually drinking bourbon and whiskey. We had to figure out how to blend it. So we got to that point where we, build a business. It's really, it's all about innovation. It's being very creative. It's engaging with the consumer. But Donnie can take it from here because realistically, we said, Donnie, here's the keys to the kingdom. Now you go have fun with this with us. So I'm going to let Donnie take it from here.
Thanks, man.
All right. So Donnie, before you get into that, how did you get into the love of Penelope? I mean, what?
At a tasting, went into a liquor store. It was right at the beginning of COVID, and I was probably in a bad spot in life. I was killing 2 175s a week, one Jack, one Sky vodka, just drinking a lot. And I kind of made the decision during COVID that why don't you spend your money on something good as opposed to enjoying the journey as opposed to just getting to the destination, right? So I started once a week. I would go to the liquor store and I would try to pick something new off the shelf, something that was high quality, something that was better than Jack. I love Jack, been drinking Jack since I was 12, but just looking for something better and higher proof. And a tasting at one of the liquor stores here in town. I don't know if I can say their name. Matt, give me a thumbs up or not.
We have to be fair to everybody.
Okay, so I won't say their name. One of the liquor stores, it's a large liquor store here in Omaha. They had a tasting and they were doing red and white. And I remember trying both of them and like just blew me away. It was that's amazing. Went to the shelf and looked at the price of the red and wasn't prepared for that at that time. So I took home a white one, the 4 grain, just their 80 proof. Got it home, enjoyed it. It was good, but it was not barrel strength batch 6. So I went back the next day and bought barrel strength batch 6. I probably went through 3 cases. So their Penelope does 6 bottle cases. So 6 bottles in a case. I probably went through 3 cases myself of batch 6. Just fucking phenomenal. Sorry if there's no cussing here.
You can fucking curse. It's all good.
Really? Excellent.
It was just amazing to me. It blew me away. And then I just started posting on social media. You know, hey, I love this bottle, love this brand, this is delicious. And it's kind of funny, and I hate to make this really long, but to give you some history. So the Penelope page was very responsive. I mean, they would repost every time I post something with Penelope on it, they'd repost my stuff. So that automatically draws me in. I mean, I'm Donnie sent me. The whole purpose of me trying to help promote your brand is for you to help me grow so that we can both touch more people, right?
Well, Donnie, let's just let everybody know here. You actually created hashtags that became like viral. That's
I don't know about that, but
well, I'm telling you it is because we have the stats on it. But that's how like I put you in the ultra ubus fan category, and that's why we bridged the gap to get you in these projects with these 2 amazing brands here.
Right on. So the page is just really responsive. I started chatting back and forth, and I noticed they're way more active late at night. And then one of the comments that was made from the Penelope page was, hey, I got to get Hank to bed. And it hit me at that point. I'm like, holy shit, is this Palladini? Well, yeah, who did you think it was? So, well, I figured they had a social media person. I didn't know I was talking to the owner. You know, I mean, there's certain things you're going to say to people, and there's certain things you're going to say to an owner. So at that point, I realized what an actual friend he was, and that he was just honest and straight and true and transparent. I had no idea that's what that probably went on for like 2 to 3 months before I even knew who I was talking to. So just from there, it was, yeah, I want to be a part of this brand. I want to be a part of helping them grow.
Just to give a little context real quick. So the 2 people that started this is Mike Palladini and Danny Pelosi. They're actually 4th grade school friends. The name on that bottle, Penelope, is actually Mike's firstborn daughter. So that just gives the context as Donnie's talking about different things. That's who started the brand.
Yeah, I appreciate you putting that out there. I did my research on that going into this because that's what I do. I try to Uber research before I get into these just so I don't get caught off guard with stuff. But we like to be the ones somewhat in control of where this goes, but it never works out. So
trust me, that's about to go all the way different now.
And that's exactly what we want. So exactly. Donnie, I will say this. You were the one that got me into Penelope, because when you first started posting the stuff, I started looking for it, and I made the comment on one of your things, I can't find this anywhere. And I mean, we went on hunts all over the state of Tennessee looking for it. And you were like, well, hold on. And you sent me 4 samples. You didn't tell me what was going on. You just said, drink it. And I said, which one are these? You said, just drink it. And you ended up sending me this stuff afterwards. And one, you know, it was, I think one of the first ones that I tried was the Architect. The first one that came out. Love that one.
That's my favorite. Donnie knows that's my favorite.
And then I jumped after that. I've always had a bottle. I've had something from Penelope on the bar. And then the toasted came out. Holy hell. That is my favorite. But anyways, I'll let you keep going. But I just wanted to say, thanks to Donnie, it's the reason that I'm a fan.
Thank you. It's awesome to hear. I've poured Penelope for thousands of people. I've sent hundreds of samples to people, just trying to help grow the brand. And now we're in all 50 states. We're in all 50 states, right?
Yep. New Mexico was our last one.
Okay. I mean, when this first started for me, they were only in like 17 states, I think. So the growth of the brand has just been phenomenal. And yes, the conversation around cigar blend, Mike knows. And in fact, I sent very early in our relationship, Mike said something about cigars, and I sent him a grab bag, like 12 cigars, just sent them to him in a Boveda bag, of course, because I knew he didn't have a humidifier,
humidor.
Holy shit, can't even think. Yeah, so I sent it in a Boveda bag so they would stay fresh for him. But we've been talking about a cigar batch for 4 years. And just, obviously it's important to do it right. And in my mind, this was only in my mind, the way to do it right was to involve people that are actually fucking making the cigar. Have the master blender of your bourbon or whiskey or whatever it is that you're making, have them in the same room and consulting with or communicating with a master blender of a cigar. And I mean, we did a number of tastings, we did a number of Zooms, a number of lives, but seeing those three, Cynn, Lee, and Danny, communicating in that room in Vegas was surreal. It was they were speaking a different language. It was.
I cannot wait to get to that part, man. That's kind of where we all want to know how this came about. But let me ask you real quick though, Donnie. So were you a cigar guy or a bourbon guy first? Like, did it come together, or like how did that come about?
I would say that I've been drinking. I'm not lying. I've been drinking bourbon since I was probably 9 or 10 years old. So I was definitely a bourbon guy before a cigar guy. And really, it was for COVID. I mean, I've been smoking cigars. I worked in a cigar shop back 20 years ago, and one of the nice things in the cigar shop is they would let you smoke. I mean, in Omaha, you can't smoke indoors. We have cigar lounges now, but back then it was. But since we sold them, we could smoke in the shop. So I kind of took up smoking and enjoying a cigar while I was working, and got to try a large variety of different cigars. And again, this is 25 years ago. So it was the space was a lot different than it is today. But during COVID is when I bought my first humidor. So it was a matter of, I'm going to be stuck at home. I would go to the cigar shop. I'd buy a couple cigars. You have to smoke them in 2 or 3 days or they're dead, you know? So I bought a humidor and then started filling it and then got another humidor. And then it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I have one of those big cooler doors now. Has 3 Spanish trays in it. It's not completely full. It's 3/4 of the way full. I probably got 400 cigars in there. And I would say what drew me to these two is the boutiqueness of it, the absolute artistry of. So there's a lot to be said for the big brands. They're going to make 4 million of the same cigar, whereas these guys are making a much lower quantity and using much different product. They're just, it's like a bourbon. I mean, you can go buy a Jim Beam off the shelf, or you can buy something that's better, that's better. And that's what drew me to these guys.
Well, that was going to be my question, is out of all, whether it would be heritage or boutique, what was the driving factor that had you looking at, Dissident and Stolen Thrones that you would want to put them within this, I guess, experiment?
I guess the relationships that have been built on social media, feeling comfortable going to them and saying, hey, we're looking at doing something. We'd love to have you involved and being a part of this. I love your cigars, and I would love to have hopefully your input in working with Danny on creating something special for Penelope.
I'll give you the Penelope perspective here too, because we started as a crazily small brand. In fact, one state and ran about $50,000 to $75,000. So we came from zero. I think for us, it doesn't make any sense to Donnie's point, that Jim Beam analogy, mass market. This is not really what we do. We like to spend the time, and honestly, we're super honored to have had the time to work with Cynn and Josh and Lee, because they're growing their businesses as well. So for them to be part of this is pretty special for us as a brand, because it's really not every day that you can have, honestly, the brain power that comes from how you blend these cigars together. And by the way, I come from a very novice side of cigars. Okay, I have a couple, but I'm nowhere near the level of capacity with the team that these fine folks are on this call. Now, talk about blending and distribution. I'll rock your nuts off for like 5.5 hours. It'll be fine, right? We'll keep going. But so I think it's a very honor for us as a brand to have even, being welcomed into their circles, because again, running businesses, building their brands, and we had to learn too. So it was like another chapter, and I think that's the greatest word for this, is another chapter of our journey as a brand, was to start working with these wonderful folks that are here.
So you've got, Cynn and Josh, and you've got Lee that you asked to join this. So I'll let one of you guys start. So when Donnie reached out to you and said, "Hey, I've got this idea," what was your thoughts on that?
I mean, for me, I've known Donnie a while, right? We met at some events actually in Omaha at Nickelbee's. And he brought it up pretty early, like, "Hey, we're thinking about doing this. Like, is this something you'd be, interested in working on?" And I immediately told him, I said, "Yes, but," right? So like for me, and to the Penelope team's credit, like I was like, I'm not interested in being part of any gimmick, right? If we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it the right way. Like we all know those bourbons that just slap cigar brand on it, and has nothing to do with cigars. No kind of insight or attempt to kind of understand both sides of the communities and all that kind of stuff. And really, I'm not the easiest to work with because of that being the end result being the best product possible. And I can't say enough about Penelope, about how easy they were to work with, and kind of letting us run the show and kind of seeing what happens, and it was a truly fun experience for sure. A lot of time and effort. And what a lot of people don't know is that these folks flew out to meet us at PCA for like 6 hours. We rented a room in 8 Lounge, finished the blend there, and then they flew out and jetted. Right. So like the commitment universally was there. And I'm super happy to have been a part of it for sure.
Yeah, to piggyback off of Lee, it was the same thoughts that I had. I didn't want to go into this where it was another thing where just a brand throws a label on it and calls it a day. And the way Donnie presented it, I loved it, because I have not heard of any other bourbon brand who has done it this way. Yeah. And that was such a draw for me, because we were truly involved in this. And both Lee and I going through this, it was such a beautiful thing to watch, because I had my own opinions on, to back up a little bit, the way this started, when we first started this, essentially because we are in all different parts of the world, we were being sent little drams with no names, no anything on them. It was blind tasting, and there was so many bottles. We're doing it in Nicaragua. Lee was doing it in his part. I mean, it was just everywhere. And to come together on these meetings, which, by the way, this blend took 2 years. This wasn't like we said, this wasn't just slap a label on it, call it a day. This was a long time in the making. And I wouldn't have had it any other way, because it did take that long. It took a lot of meetings and a lot of time and a lot of different variables and whatnot. And, it was just awesome when we came together, especially in Vegas, to talk. And, all the meetings prior, it was so crazy to see that even though I'm smoking different cigars from Lee, we both of us, all three of us had the same opinions on the same bourbons and the yeses and the nos. And, you know, this is good with medium. This is good with full body cigars. This makes a Connecticut even more papery. You know, it was so awesome to see how, even though we are all different people, we all came together and had the same ideas about this stuff. And I was like, this is going to be awesome, because there was no, yeah, well, I think this, and, you know, my opinion is totally different. It wasn't like that. It came together beautifully. And the Vegas thing, like you brought up, I mean, that was such a surreal moment for me. I was kind of giggling the whole time, because here we were at PCA, and you have all these different people from PCA, you know, different cigar brands and stuff, trying to look into these like windows, like what is going on in there? Because all they could see was just hundreds of bottles of bourbon everywhere, and we're just sitting there smoking cigars and talking it up, and people had no idea. And, you know, they all flew in just for this meeting and then left, and I'm like, what? You know, and I'm just like winding down for the night, and they're like, bye. You know, so that was the first time I actually met Matt in person too, because so much of this was, you know, communicating through Zoom and through phone calls and everything. So that was a pivotal moment for me in Vegas. That was really cool. And we couldn't say a word about it. So like everyone for like a good year was like, can you talk about it yet? Like, what's going on? And I'm like, no, we cannot talk about it. But yeah, it was a really unique experience. And I'm glad that Donnie came to us, because, you know, the whole boutique thing is really important, because, you know, just like with your larger brands, you know, them having access to certain things, there's certain things that only boutique brands have access to also, because the larger companies just cannot get the volume needed for production. And so we have the ability to do things that others can't. And, you know, we're still exploring, and there's just so much to a boutique brand where you're hands-on yourself and you're seeing the quality that's going into it, and you're able to oversee all that. So I think a lot of boutique brands would agree that if they're boutique, they kind of want to stay boutique. They don't want to get bigger, because there's a uniqueness to that kind of just, it tends to go away unintentionally when you get larger. And, you know, I'm not discrediting at all any large brands. I mean, they definitely are large for a reason, but I don't want to be that large brand. I want to stay boutique, and you know, it's for my own personal reasons. You know, it's a lot more intimate. And I think from what I've gathered with Penelope, it's kind of the same thing. You know, even though they're growing, they're still maintaining that sense of family and that sense of connection with their customers. And I think that's wonderful. So we were all able to come together in that same sense, because we understood each other on that level.
So this whole Vegas thing was hysterical, because we actually only got a few days like notice on my side. I don't know how much the rest of the team knows about this, but our whole team was actually at the New Orleans Bourbon Festival at the same time that PCA is. So I think it was like a week before, I get this phone call, and it's like, hey, can you find a spot in Vegas that's fairly hidden? There's also a cigar lounge that's
during
also
PCA.
Right. And I'm like, hey, look, sometimes I have a magic wand, but this might be just a little bit of a stretch. So interestingly, I think the PCA was I think it was held close to within Resorts World for a part of it. Mm-hmm. Really good friends of mine are actually ops directors at that hotel. So I'm doing like these secret ass phone calls with them, being like, look, what do you got? So we found a really cool spot. I will tell you right now, it has been so difficult to keep that under wraps for so long. Not only personally for us, but actually to Cynn's point, of all the people that were like, hey, what's going on? I think, Cynn, when I first met you going through the door, it was probably a good 35 minutes for you and Joshua before we could actually get from the door to the room. And it was, what's going on? And we're like, oh, you know, just like kind of a cool hangout. I realized that day that I will never be as cool as any of those other cats in that room that night. I'll be honest. Like, there's a factor, and this thing was just like 5x more, you know, than we'd ever done. So I think that just made the night. And yeah, that's actually part of the reason why we were in, and then we had to jet all the way back out. So I think I slept for 2.5 hours in 48, something like that. So it was fun.
Wow.
Well, so a couple things to what you said. First of all, it's always great when you're a female in a male-dominated industry, first of all.
100%.
So, so I will say that it's very typical to be stopped all the time, as one of the few females in this industry. So not to pat myself on the back, but you just happened to catch that moment when everyone's like, Cynn Coburn, But also you mentioned like a secret, quiet place. And I have to laugh at that because 8 Cigar Lounge is absolutely not that.
No, I know.
That was like the number one place where like everybody likes to hang out at. And then the one room we got was all glass. So there was no hiding anything.
No,
and it was
no,
so
that's
great. I
that's
loved
like
it.
the irony of the whole thing. It's like, hey, we're on show, but we can't tell you what we're doing.
No, it was great. It was really great. It was funny and it was so good because that secret was kept for so long, and the fact that people saw something was going on, I think that was a good thing because it kept everybody on their toes. Like something big is going on, and they're not saying a word, and we didn't. No one did.
It was hard.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. No, you guys definitely kept it pretty well under wraps until it hit the market. So that's pretty amazing for you guys. So two quick statements and then one question. So I have had other cigar blends, and it's not because you guys are all sitting in front of me and we're having this right now. I've had one that my brother-in-law has that was like a $300 bottle. Nowhere near blends with or pairs with a cigar as well as this does already. It's absolutely phenomenal. You guys keep touching on family. That's why we do this, and we're so happy that you guys are on here with us talking about that, because this is what we try to do and try to bring that family feel to everything we do, because we want to know more about you and the backstories and everything, and that's exactly what you guys are promoting tonight as well. And my question is, I think all 3 of you or 4 of you or 5 of you have touched on that there was a right way and a wrong way to try to do a cigar blend bourbon. What is the right way? I mean, I know it took a lot of time and effort, and you guys actually tried to pair everything, but like, give us the magic. How'd this all come together with that?
Well, I will say that. Oh, sorry.
Not sorry.
You see so many different cigar bourbons in the past, and you don't really know what goes into that or why it's called a cigar bourbon or what have you. And you quickly realize in this process that there is no way that you can really encompass every cigar in a bottle of bourbon. You cannot do that. You can't even do a full body cigar, a Connecticut cigar, and a medium cigar in one bottle of bourbon. You cannot do that. And we really didn't go into this knowing that. We're thinking, okay, we're going to nail this bottle. We're going to create something that pairs well with at least a large portion of cigars, right? That's kind of how I went into it. And I'm like, oh, heck no, there is no way that this can be done. And how other brands thought that they could do it, there's not. This is just this is not talking bad about other companies, but it's just a label. That's all it is, because there's literally no way to blend a bourbon that can tap into every cigar. And we realized that early on, and the intention originally was to have just one bourbon and, call it quits. And that's what Penelope was going to do. And we were like, no, we can't do that. Like, this has got to be series or a pack of 3 or something, because we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot if we don't do it this way, because we, including Lee, just quickly realized, okay, like, we nailed this one blend, but this can only be done with medium body cigars. And by medium body, meaning like, if you have something overly peppery, you're not going to like the bourbon, or you're not going to like your cigar. It's going to mellow out one or the other. That's just what's going to happen. Because that's what happened with a lot of the samples that we were trying with a lot of the different cigars. We found that a certain cigar may enhance the bourbon, but it might make the cigar too peppery, or it might take away all the notes of the cigar. And we were running into that so often. So it's just been like a really great experience. And I don't even remember what your original question was. So what was,
Well,
I
You
rambled.
pretty much hit it.
so
You nailed it.
when you're talking about, see, my question was going to be, what type of cigar was you aiming for this whiskey to, to nail? Coming from, Josh and Cynn, you've got Dissident and Lee's got Stolen Thrones. What cigar from your own brand are you smoking with this that you're like, because you know each of your brands, so you know that this cigar pairs well with it. So what would you think in your own lines would pair well with it? And Donnie, as somebody who is a cigar enthusiast, what are you smoking that may be different than their brands that you're enjoying with this?
Well, you can't, the way we approached it was we weren't about to just do one cigar. So what we did was we literally brought out every cigar that we had and we lined them all up. And Josh did the same thing. And a couple times we had some friends over just to make sure that we weren't being opinionated or, so we did it that way. And I think even smoking a couple other different brands as well, because we wanted to make sure that there was no bias, there was no anything. And to really focus on a cigar, just one cigar, and like what goes best with this one cigar, that's doing a disservice to everything. Because
let's take it into this point. So coming from, there are fans out here that absolutely love a Dissident cigar, and there are people who love Stolen Thrones. What are some cigars from the Dissident line that you love with this blend? And Lee, I want the same one for you. What is some of the ones from your line that, you absolutely love when you're enjoying this?
Well, right now I'm smoking the Heretic. It's one of my favorites with this bourbon. I would also say the Plasmatic and the Molotov are also very good with them. But you'll notice with all three of those cigars, none of them are pepper bombs. And you can classify the Heretic as a Maduro cigar. Some can call it a full body. I wouldn't really put it as a full body, but it does go very well. So this is a unique experiment with everybody, with every cigar smoker. Like, don't go into it with just one cigar and being like, oh, this bourbon's terrible. It may be for that one cigar that you did. This is supposed to be a fun experiment for every cigar smoker. If it didn't go well with your one medium cigar, try another medium cigar. Try a Maduro that's, more medium body than full body. So yes, with ours, I would say it was the Heretic, Plasmatic, and Molotov really, really hit the nail on the head with, I can't say the blend that we picked, but just in general, I guess, like, I kept going for that, but it was really more about what we were tasting with the bourbons more than anything. Then it was kind of like this balance of everything and going back and forth. So that's a kind of a hard question to answer. But now finally with this bourbon, I will say it's Heretic and the Molotov and the Plasmatic.
What do you think, Lee?
I mean, for me, it was a little bit of a different approach. It was more component based. I approached the blend of the whiskey just like I would a cigar, component based, right? So really with our portfolio, it kind of is the amplifier of each blend, right? So you'll find all of Stolen Throne cigars are medium plus full bodied cigars. I don't make mild cigars because I don't smoke mild cigars. Those who have followed the brand know that. So like, it is a different component for every cigar. So like the Crook, it made, the Crook became a lot sweeter. That rich Maduro wrapper became sweeter. With the Three Kingdoms, the citrus notes really came through. It's like an amplifier, right? So I didn't have a cigar that like kind of drowned out what it was doing. It was more of like what it would bring out of each blend when we smoked it. And I did the same thing. I smoked every cigar of the line with the blend. And it kind of, what made it nice is that it was a different experience every time. Right. So whether if it was the Call to Arms, it became more creamy and like the spice kind of got a little amplified because of the sweetness of the whiskey, or it was like the Crook where it got sweeter. So it was kind of a different experience, just like you want your cigars to be a different experience, especially within the portfolio. Like if you're familiar with our brand, like you realize like the bane of my existence is to be predictable. There isn't a cigar that we make that tastes like another cigar that we make, and that's by design. And I think that the Penelope Cigar Sessions kind of amplifies that experience with each offering.
So, Donnie, as somebody who enjoys cigars, what were some of the cigars that you were smoking that you enjoyed with this that may not be a Dissident or Stolen Throne?
Oh, Cerdo de Lomo. First, I'm going to throw out Tatawahe, the pork tenderloin. I don't have the newest one, the new pork tenderloin that's out, the Lomo de Cerdo or Cerdo de Lomo. I can't remember which one it was. That was really enjoyable. I really like the Davidoff Nicaraguan. Davidoff the Escurio. Like has already been brought up. I think and Matt, please correct me. I've tried my Google Foo and I haven't seen anything. I don't know of another brand that has blended bourbon, American light whiskey, and single malt in the same bottle. So I think this truly is going to be a unique experience. Every cigar that you have, I think that there's going to be different notes from different components, to use a word that Lee used. The different components of the mash bill are going to bring out different highlights for different cigars. We can all agree that everyone's palate is different. So trying to make something that's going to be good for everyone is not possible. However, I think that there's certain parts of the experience that can be notable and can be inspiring for people. That's my thought process.
You know what's really funny about this whole discussion is I actually feel like I just went back a year ago and I'm actually sat in Las Vegas, because this was part of the whole discussion that was going on with everyone trying different things. Maybe I can give some context to maybe how Cynn and Lee got to where they got to, and it's actually to do with the blend and the grains. So in this bottle, there's actually 3 what we call mash bills. Mash bill is a summation of grains, and they're going to have different proof points, and they're going to have basically different taste profiles. So the first one is basically an American light whiskey, and it's a 99 corn-based mash bill. So corn, for the most part, is sweetness. But interesting about American light whiskeys is that they're almost using second fill barrels. So there's actually some age that goes about it. There's a little bit of oaky note that can come through, but it's still maintaining some sweetness. The second component's really interesting, and it's to Lee's point here about, where does spice come into the journey, and I think Cynn mentioned it as well. You have to play with percentages. And I think that's the critical thing of why this works so well is we can sit there all day long and know, is it good or bad from a blend perspective, right? I think when you have master tobacconists that come in and go, yeah, dial that back a little bit, because rye, basically when you get to the rye part of this, it's all to do with white pepper and black pepper for the most part. There's a little heat profile in there as well. Then you rip the whole book up. So what was interesting about the whole process is Danny was actually sending out very random samples over a period of time of different years too. So age can play a little bit of a part in this, and this whole bottle is 6 years old. So it's a 6-year-old all the way through. When you get to start putting something like an American single malt into this blend, you're challenging everything at that point, because that can be quite a polarizing set of, like a polarizing blend if you want, even if it's in its own right of a product. I always see American single malt sitting between the bourbon lover's dream and the Scotch lover's dream. So it's kind of right in the middle. And you have some earthy tones that come through. There's obviously a malt component that you would see in Scotch, but there's also a little bit of cream and sweetness that comes from the British side. So now you got to marry those things together. And I think actually listening to how each of those cigars that was mentioned in that last question was critical for Danny, because he's looking at like, okay, is it 5% more of this? Is it 3% less of that? And he's finding that midpoint. When he has that midpoint and everybody can see that it can match certain things, you end up with exactly what is in this bottle. So it's really not a case of like, oh, let's just throw a few things at the wall. This was probably 6 to 8 hours of just taking each of those independent components and just dialing them in, because you don't want one to be overpowering on the other. It's a blend, so it has to stand out on its own. I remember blowing out in the middle of this thing because, you know, it was 8 hours of drinking and cigar smoke. I still have this note that will never leave me. I love real world scenarios. It's like an orchard. So it's just thunderstorm rain has come through this orchard. And you know when you have that earthy smell that comes from the ground, and then you have that beautiful citrus, pear, grapefruit, citrus note that comes through as well. That is the Cigar Sessions for me. So
it is 100%. That was the first thing I noticed, was like the apple orchard on the nose, and it is very component derivative for me, as well as the sum of the parts, because like these guys will tell you, I hated the American single malt by itself.
Yep.
I thought it was terrible, but when it came to mixing it with the rye and the corn, it just balanced it so well and gave it so much depth. And the same thing happens with cigars. And I think that it's imperative that it took so long. Just like, you know, my average development time on a new cigar is about 1.5 and 2 years for the same reason, because you have to see what happens over time.
Yep.
Right. And we've all had that cigar where you smoked it the first time and you thought it was excellent. You revisit it and you were like, this is terrible.
So I want to ask one thing. I'm somebody who loves American single malt whiskey. I always get, anytime I drink it, it's, especially if it's a younger one, it's like a smoky dark chocolate mixed with a little citrus. And I love that because I like either broadleaf or Mexican wrapper cigars, and they balance so well with it. So the first time I drunk this, that was the first note I got, was this reminds me of some of the American single malt whiskeys that I've had. And tonight I'm smoking a broadleaf, and it's bringing out every coffee chocolate note that cigar offers. Mm-hmm. So how much single malt is in this blend?
13%.
So not much.
Just
you know, and what's really interesting with that too is, you know, like I stated in the very beginning, we had no idea what we were drinking, and that was intentional. They just sent us A, B, and C, I believe is what it was,
and D.
And D. We had no clue, and it was wonderful starting it that way, because it truly left it open to where, I mean, we could just give our opinions without any knowledge of what it was that we were drinking. And, you know, we came together, and both Lee and I had really, really similar comments on each thing. And then they would say, okay, well, this was this was that, this was that. And then we would do a second round. And by the time we got to Vegas, I remember Danny being a little concerned because this has never been done, especially with the single malt. It was a single malt, correct?
Yeah, that was
okay. Yeah. So he was a bit concerned, because this was like going against everything that he knew. And so he was like trying to tweak it a little bit in this meeting. And we were like, we would try it and we would be like, no. And you know, we don't blend bourbon, you know, so we have no idea. We just know based off of our experience with cigars and him tweaking it. We're like, it's just not doing it. It's not doing it, you know, and it still went back to originally what we all felt was the perfect blend. And it was just so interesting, because you can see Danny, you can see his gears turning the whole time, and he's scratching his head, and he's got his little like vials out, and he's like, well, we'll try this. And we're like, it's good, but it's not like this with this. And, you know, so it was really interesting to see, because it humbled all of us, not just on the cigar end, but also on Danny's end, because he's never dealt with the cigar side of things. So this really created a unique atmosphere where it taught everyone something. And it was really, really awesome to see. And I think, you know, for Danny to go from, you know, it's okay, this is really working. It was really cool, because it wasn't my own opinion versus Lee's very drastic different opinion. It wasn't like that at all. It was us as cigar people being like, yeah, but you know, this one more so, you know, with this. And so he had to put trust in us just as much as we put trust in Danny and Mike. And I don't know, it was really awesome. And I feel honored.
To chime in a little bit is kind of the the guy that doesn't know much of either, but enjoys
He does the
everything.
paper end of the cigar stuff.
Sitting in that room, taking
Josh,
it in.
we forgot you were here, brother.
Hey, I'm just here for some peanut gallery comments once in a while. And what was super cool about it, to give kind of everyone on the outside a look, for me, it was legit. I mean, Danny was blending in real time. So he took what we already had told him from our previous meetings and testing and everything and had it there. And like Cynthia was saying, it's a matter of putting these things together in real time and handing them to everybody and getting feedback and then tweaking it and making those changes. So, I mean, there was stuff going on all the time. And it was really mad scientist-y, really. Like, that's the best way I can say it. So the energy was super cool being there, and just, again, not being the guy that knows things, right? I got to take in stuff from everybody in that room and just watching it kind of unfold and knowing that I can't recall if we came to a this is it right here when we walked out of there, but I know we were close enough anyway.
We were pretty close.
It felt good. And that was like, that's pretty crazy to think about, that in like 3 hours, you can kind of start. Obviously, we had already been down that road quite a ways, but to really just kind of hammer through it was super cool to watch happen.
And it was more so not nailing just one, because like I said, this ended up, we all agreed that this needed to be some kind of series. So we had to come up with, okay, like this is the one that we should start with. But man, we really can't forget about this one and this one either, because these are really good with this, So that's kind of how we walked away with it. But it was, it was interesting. And,
And not to take anything, take over kind of the podcast from you guys, but Lee, I'm curious about you haven't said much about like that experience in that room. I'm curious what your thoughts were.
I mean, it was kind of like throwing everything at the wall. Like, it was the organized chaos that I love so much.
Yeah.
That's why I was like super concerned about working with other people and creativity, because that's kind of how I operate. I never know. I always say, like, with cigars, and this was the same way, is like, it's kind of like the definition of porn. I don't know how to describe it, but I know it when I see it. And it was kind of one of those scenarios where you just kind of get to a point where you know that this is it, but you don't know why. So like, that's kind of what it was. I mean, it was a great experience. I mean, I can't say enough about the Penelope team, just from, catering themselves to our schedules, and even now with the post stuff, making sure that like products available at events I'll be in. And we're doing a Cigar Sessions event next Thursday, actually, and then I got another one in Hawaii at the end of the month. So like, just the whole team and being able to be proud of this project together has been awesome. But that experience was invigorating and exhausting at the same time, but in such a positive way, for sure.
Yeah, agreed.
What's kind of interesting, and I love this discussion, is talking about how Danny blends. Just to clue everyone in, he actually blends in numbers. So it's kind of interesting because I stood next to him at a couple of points. I was doing a little bit of video for the event, but he'll bounce stuff off occasionally with me when we do these types of sessions. And I'm giving him real world flavors. But he translates that into how much he needs to the point of mad scientist, how much he needs to dial that in and out of. So what everyone would have experienced is Danny's pretty quiet in those types of sessions, because at the end of the day, he's listening in 8 different directions and he's absorbing. And then he calculates. So that's his brain methodology. And I'll be honest, it took me a while to figure that out with him, because he passed me something when we're doing stuff, and he's like, hey, what do you think of that? And I would just be like, oh, these are all the notes I get from it. And he's like, yeah, but what would I tweak? And then I have to adjust my brain to go, oh, he's talking about percentages and numbers here. How do we get that a little bit more balanced? So yeah, it was an interesting one with the American single malt, because we were stood at one side together whilst everyone was smoking and talking. And he's like, do you think I should amp it up a little bit more? And I'm like, yeah, let's go with it a little bit more. So he was doing very minimal increments. And And I know one part of it, he actually decreased it and then re-increased it in one of the floors to see if it would actually push anybody off. So actually, some of the floors people get in the room were actually previous ones that they had, but he wanted to do that. Hey, was I really getting what I needed from this? And he would have kind of played up a bit inside. So it was actually pretty cool. So he was playing magician as well as mad scientist, I guess.
That's an incredible process. So you guys know I'm Mr. Random. I throw random shit at you. I've just been waiting for Josh to throw up a sign and walk away. Like literally, like hold up a sign. If anybody gets that, you get it. But so if you guys, yeah, trust me, I love those too, man. I truly enjoy those. I usually see them in the morning before I go into work. So I do appreciate you, brother. I know we all do.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you got it.
Also, so were any of you guys buzzed or drunk by when you left your session in Vegas? I need to know that. Like, were you like, fucking, hey, I drank like 10 glasses of bourbon like today? I honestly.
I know I was trying to really be conscious of what I was drinking. To say I wasn't buzzed, no, I think we all walked out of there feeling a little tipsy, but I think more so than others. I mean, there was no way. I mean, I have a couple pictures of all the bottles in that room. I mean, it was just crazy. And to see it from the outside, I can't even imagine what people were thinking. Like, dude, these are partiers. And no, like this was like all business and all of us being like, wow, you know, like talking all this stuff. But I can't imagine what people were thinking looking inside that room. Like, how are they going to get up the next morning and work at PCA, you know? So, and plus, I mean, if you're buzzed and drunk, yeah, it's a good time. But I'll tell you what, if I am that way, there is no knowledge in my brain anymore. So I'm like, keep your head on, Cynn.
I have a pretty high tolerance. I drink a lot of high proof bourbon. So I wouldn't say that I'm sure I was feeling good. And I think that I was probably just on a cloud, just being in the room with these guys, and Josh. To your, you know, holding up the sign and walking away thing, I was following Josh long before I even knew he was connected to Dissident. Just the motivation and the trying to lift people up, and that's what we should all aspire to be.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, thanks.
I did want to say, so this is my notebook. Sorry to cut you off. I'll make it really quick.
No, go ahead.
Just to edify the date. This was our first meeting. It wasn't necessarily
That's
a
what I was about
session,
to go into.
But it was our first meeting was 6/14/23. One of our first Zoom calls, and just going through some of the notes that I took from the meeting, right? It's
going into that. And that's where I wanted to go. You guys talked that, you know, this has been going on for a couple of years, and, you know, you first started meeting on Zoom. What, you know, let's start with Lee. What was going through your head during this first meeting with you? You guys are all getting together. You're about to talk about a project that neither one of you know if it's actually going to work or not. What was that first meeting like for you? And we'll go around the room on that one.
I think it was like a feeling out process for me. Like, is this full of shit or not? You know, like how do they really want to step into this room? You know, and they did. You know, I think it was kind of like you're excited. I've been a fan of Penelope for a long time for a lot of things, and mostly because of the parallels with Soul and Throne. I think they're extremely high quality product for a fair value, and for those that are familiar with my brand, that's something that really matters to me. I mean, I know Donnie's smoked Soul and Throne for a very long time. That's always that was like the first thing that stuck out. And you kind of, when you do everything solo, you're kind of apprehensive of like sharing your process and kind of seeing if that process is able to be applied universally in other things with other people. And so, but they're just such a cool group of people, and it was so disarming and really fun and exciting, and I was just happy to see. I like that, like, apprehensive, unknowing the unknown unknowns. You don't know where this is going to go, if it's going to go anywhere, and kind of to see it build upon itself. You know, it's been a great experience for sure.
Donnie, what was yours like?
Excitement to have the people that I wanted in the room together. That's what it was all about. Is about, and I think what Lee said is it definitely was a feeling out process to see how the teams could work together and to make sure that there weren't egos that were going to get in the way with going into it with a whiteness, I guess, a purity, an innocence, right? Going in with no preconceived notions, and let's start from scratch. Let's work this thing together and come up with something that we can all be proud of to be a part of.
Cynn, Josh?
Yeah, they nailed it. It was the same thing. It was a little bit of feeling everything out. And, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, how many irons are in the fire? Is this going to work out when you have this many people involved in something? And, when you're working with a brand that's not cigars, you kind of have to feel out what their focus is versus what our focus is with cigars. And there was no issues. Like, it was so flawless. And Penelope understood that just like we needed to listen to them because they're knowledgeable in bourbon, they understood that they needed to listen to us as well because we knew cigars. And even between Lee and I, everything was just so smooth. There was no anybody taking over anything at all. It was a true family group experience that I'm so grateful for. I mean, it was just a smooth process. And I will say, Donnie, every meeting, he was just all smiles and just so happy and just sitting back and he was just loving it every time, seeing how everything was just coming together and working so well. So yeah, that very first meeting, I think just like with any meeting, it's kind of just feeling things out and seeing how it's going to work out. And is this the right fit? And we quickly realized it was absolutely the right thing. And this was going to go wonderfully.
Yeah. The coolest thing for me was as things unfolded, even in the first meeting, but further down the line, is everybody brought very different things, different pieces of knowledge to the table about this or that or other particulars that maybe they knew or we didn't know or somebody cared about. Maybe somebody's very adamant about a certain thing and it wouldn't have come across, our mind. And those pieces are all really important, I think, to making anything, I guess anything really turn out awesome and different. And the sum of its parts is I think really important to projects like this. And I think that often gets overlooked. You were mentioning music earlier. And for me, everything is related to that. Like if you have, this original band that's amazing and you take away John Bonham from Led Zeppelin, well, you don't have Led Zeppelin anymore. And I think that that's true for cigars. I think that's true for coffee and bourbons and, beers and everything. If it's one guy, you got that. It's great. If it's a team of people, well, that's a different thing. And you're going to get something different when you bring that team together. And I think that's what made this super cool.
I think that's a good point. As you can tell, I'm obsessed with Rick Rubin and the creative part of stepping out of your comfort zone and just seeing what happens and trying just to be in the moment and create the best possible thing you can in that moment. Right. Because we all reserve the right to be smarter tomorrow than we are today, and so you have to be in the moment when you're creating things and trying to just understand what you're doing and pushing that limit of creativity. And that's what I've always said with this. I think that I don't think it's I think it's unlike any other whiskey you've ever smoked, drank. And I take that same approach when I'm creating cigars.
So, Matt, I don't know if you were involved in the Zooms or not. If you were, what was your thoughts on the first one?
It was, it comes back to a little bit, as I said, right at the beginning of this. Mike and Danny are good barometers of situations. And that first meeting, we all got off that call and we're like, this will absolutely be a banger. Mike already knows in strategy terms when he hears different people. I mean, he's been an entrepreneur for a long time. And I remember a comment he made and he was like, this is the group of people, period, the end. And that's what he said, period, the end. And I think part of this comes back to trust, right? Mike already knows in that process there was an awful level of trust that we're going to give the keys over and we're going to get this awesome group of people together. There's also another really interesting thing here as I'm listening. We have a bit of a philosophy that if you're going to do something, you have to be either equal, or if not, better than what came before. So like we've experimented in a lot of different areas, and there's been certain finishes that in our regular business we've just not done because we're not ready to be the next level up for someone to experience, right? And there's been a lot of people who said on this, there's been a lot of other cigar batches that came before. So going into this, everyone's got these cool ideas, and it was like, oh, hold on, we've got the right path, because I think Lee mentioned it earlier. We could have just gone and Cynn mentioned it. We could have thrown a label on a bottle and been, hey, here you go, have fun. So we already knew by taking the process a different way that this was actually going to equal something really, really, really special. And I knew on that call right there and then, because one, we've known Donnie for a long time, and there was trust. You know, the trust in that is Donnie knew the relationship, and that counts for pretty much everything here, in my opinion. Trust and relationship. Then everyone gets together and goes, hey, ego's gone away. Cool, that's gone. Next thing is, we have to drop our guard too. Because equally, we could say, well, we've got the most fantastic blends in the world. No, let's get rid of that too. So then it was a case of, right, how are we going to do this? And that is why projects like this will always be successful, because you have a plan. And once you have a plan, it's all about creativity. It's how you literally get this thing out the door. And I knew from that meeting when Mike turned to me at the end of it and was like, this is it, let's go. That was it. It was like, period, the end, let's go.
But I think that we have to touch on the fact that how Matt and the team at Penelope really got behind this, right? Like it would be very easy for them to kind of try to pull the reins back, but they said very early that like this was something that they were behind, and this was going to be like their most cherished release of the year, and really putting a lot of faith in us to be able to create. And like when you have that kind of, I don't want to say pressure, but you have that kind of force behind you, it for me anyway, it kind of pushes the performance a little bit. I'm an athlete by nature, so like the competitive edge of it, wanting to do your best, and I think that that's something, especially because we don't know dick about making whiskey. I know a lot about drinking it, you know. Like I don't know, you know. So like it was an eye-opening experience for us, and I love to learn, and like just the fact of how crazy deep they got behind it, I really appreciated that.
Yeah, that was probably the main thing for me too, is just seeing their excitement towards it. I mean, it just blew me away how excited and how for it that they were, you know, and that showed a lot of their level of trust towards us as well. And that was due to that first meeting, you know, and it just went from there. And it really helped us with our, not necessarily confidence, but when you have such a positive backing, that really puts you, you know, just the wheels in motion to really want to do this project. And just their willingness and excitement really just got that going. And, you know, it made us all, I think there was a level of comfort and trust that was just automatically put in place. And the rest was history. It was just wonderful.
Yeah, they did a great job of asking legitimate questions to Lee and Cynn also, because, you know, and they didn't, you know, balk at any questions that were asked back. Like there was no like, well, how dare you? Why would you ask such a dumbass thing? It wasn't like that at all. And they were asking questions to us that really, at least for me, made me sit back and be like, yeah, you know what? Why is that? Why is that when I'm smoking a cigar, is this the case? Well, Lee would answer it or Cynthia would answer it. And there were answers that I was getting out of that. And that was ultimately my favorite part of this whole process, because it was a matter of like, hey, you're good at that, you're good at this, we're good at that. Like, but so why this? And it was just awesome to see that level of knowledge just kind of tossed around in a almost flagrantly, because then you realize you're in a room with it's the rooms I love to be in the most. I love to be the dumbest person there, and I was most often.
I will say honestly, props to Donnie, I guess, because like we truly love both these brands. We've talked about it a million times on the show, and two people that truly know tobacco and know great cigars. I mean, to not just say we're going to pick X, Y, and Z cigar owners or cigar brands, I mean, to actually bring in two great boutique brands to help create this. I mean, that's a cool ass thing, man. That's really great on our end. Like we love hearing all these backstories. That's why we do this, man. So props to you, Donnie. That's awesome.
Thank you. I love Penelope.
Go ahead, Donnie.
Sorry. No, I was just going to say I love Penelope, and Michael and Danny have been more than family to me. So making sure that this was going to be, sorry, Cynn, a panty dropper, making sure that this was going to be a fucking bomb was important to me. So I wanted to make sure that we had the right people involved. And I'm tearing up. It's amazing to be a part of something.
Donnie, I did this to you the other day.
Yeah, seeing this all over social media.
Yeah,
I've seen a couple negative comments. Haven't responded. There's always going to be some negativity out there, but 99% of everything I'm seeing, people love it, and that's fucking very humbling. That I was a part of it. I certainly wasn't I don't know how to say it. Seeing the master blenders work together was just amazing. So just knowing that I brought it together is very humbling.
Yeah, shit can't happen without a catalyst, and you were it, man.
Yeah. And, these are two industries where you create family. In the cigar industry, when you're smoking cigars, you're creating family. You're in those lounges and it's your time to relax, and maybe you're going through something and you're talking to other people. And that's the same thing with bourbon. You're sitting around creating family when you're drinking bourbon. You're drinking bourbon for a reason, and that's the same thing with cigars. And we just melded those two worlds together and just created this bomb, in my opinion. And it's stirring the pot for all the right reasons. Like you said, there's going to be negative talk. It's just with the territory. You have people that no matter what, they think they know everything, or they smoke the one cigar and it doesn't go well. You're going to have that no matter what, but by and large, we know that this is a great product, and we nailed it. And Penelope was willing to take that step into the unknown and do something that no other brand has done before. And just knowing that, I'm like, absolutely, I want to be a part of this. This is so awesome that this brand actually wants to step into the unknown and do it the right way. And I'm just like, they have the keys now. They are the leader in doing it this way. And that's all because of you, Donnie. Like, you believed in it and you saw the potential in it, and by doing it the right way that something beautiful was going to happen, and it played out, and it's awesome, and relationships were made, and you can't ask for anything better.
I would say we all have the keys at this point. This is it's a team effort, and I'm going to throw in there on top of it. I was on a call the other day. We did something cool the other day, and I think, Donnie, I'll bring it back up for everyone so they know what happened. So we actually do a lot of internal training with our employees, and I invited Donnie to come in what he thought was just a regular, catch up with everything else. What he didn't know was that one of the secret pours that we were training all of our own folks on was Cigar Sessions. And everybody, Donnie, it was just electric when you were able to talk about you working with the brand and having our own people and our 1099s and our contractors be on there to actually understand that they too can be part of this industry. And that's critical. Like, as I said right before, we didn't come from the liquor industry. So we had a group of people who are passionate about whiskeys and bourbon, who work alongside us, who are now part of that journey with us. And this goes back to saying Mike and Danny at their dinners always talk about entrepreneurship is not dead by any means, not even close. If you have a dream, you got to go for it. And that's what those two guys did. And I think for me, having Donnie part of this has been, I'll never forget it. In fact, I'll never forget anybody on this for that session. It'll always sit with me in the company history and what I do. See, Donnie's got me going now, so but I love it. So thank you to all of you. I appreciate you guys.
So I will say that, I said earlier, one of the things that brought me into Penelope was Donnie. Back in my early cigar journey, one of the first people I met was Cynn. So I fell in love with the cigars. I think she was just brand new in taking over Dissident and falling in love with those cigars. So when we started hearing rumors that, there was a Penelope bourbon coming out and Cynn was involved with it, it had my radar up. I was like, okay, this is going to be awesome. Then all of a sudden I hear that Lee's involved with it. And about that time is when I'm starting to get involved with learning and enjoying, Stolen Throne cigars. It's like, oh my goodness, you've got two of the powerhouses of boutique cigars getting together with probably one of the fastest growing whiskey companies in the universe. They're going to get together and they're going to put out a baby. Holy shit. This is going to be fantastic. And, it was one of those things, even when we had Cynn on, we knew something was going on and we started asking in the green room. She's like, can't talk about it. It's like, no, tell me. And,
we tried to get it
finally came out. Yeah. When it finally came out, the first thing I told Mick was, we have to get a bottle. We started searching everywhere for it. And it just happened to be my wife decided that she was going to contact somebody and was able to get it. So I will say, having 2 little drams of it tonight, damn, it is fantastic whiskey.
And I'm not trying to be
your first pour?
Yeah.
Mine as well. I waited for tonight. I waited for tonight with you guys, but honestly,
thanks for sharing with us.
I have to be honest. Like, I've had other Penelope bourbons, and I'm going to be honest. I've been a rum guy. I've been a tequila guy for many, many, many years. I had way too many bad experiences with Jack Daniels back in the day. I hated bourbon. I hated whiskey. I hated bourbon. I could not do it. I compared everything to it. Only within the last, Charles, like 6 months, I started slowly getting. Yeah, it's his fault. It's also my fault that he loves tequila now. But yeah, I've fallen in love with all of these bourbons, and I was panicking heavily because I'm like, we're gonna have all these guys on the show, and we can't find this fucking bourbon. Like, I was panicking, and my wife actually called me at work. She's like, "You're not gonna believe this, but a bottle just showed up at your door." So thank you to Jennifer, Charles's wife, for actually setting that up, because I was like, we're gonna look like idiots. We're out here talking about it, and we don't even have a bottle of it. But no, it is absolutely outstanding. You guys, I mean, bravo to what you did. I mean, and I'm looking forward to the future chapters, which hopefully we can talk about a little bit, maybe.
Well, last week. Cynn reached out to me because I was on my anniversary vacation, and she was like, did you all get a bottle? I was like, yeah, we did. She's like, oh my God, thanks. Because I was about to try to send you some stuff out of my personal.
I was going to. When I saw that you reached out to the marketing team, I had planned on sending you some because I wanted you guys to be able to experience it with us, right?
Well,
when
now
you said that you had reached out to marketing, I knew that they were going to take care of you. So
I'm going to tell you all something right now. You see, now you're part of the Penelope family. That's not going to be a problem going forward. So let's just put it that way, okay?
And I will say,
I love
too,
you even more.
because we are in Nicaragua, this is the first time Josh and I are drinking this together, because it has been a hell of a time getting this bottle to Nicaragua. Immigration actually kept it for almost a month.
Something like that.
So, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in the States by the time I get this bottle, which the other bottles were already sitting in the States. So I literally just got back from the States and we were able to crack this open for the first time since we originally blended it, and we're drinking it together with you guys. So it's pretty awesome. Like, I haven't even had a chance to post about this bourbon or anything because I haven't had it because I'm in Nicaragua. So, this is an introduction with you guys too for us. So it's pretty interesting. And also, something I wanted to mention earlier too is, it's really humbling when you're one of a few females in the cigar industry, and there's a sense of pressure put on you when you're a female in a male dominated industry to do the right thing and to come out with good cigars. And, I've been doing that, and I've been busting my butt, and there's things that people don't know. Like I'm now on the PCA committee, which I can't go into too much detail about, but those of you in the cigar world, you know what PCA is. And I'm on a brand new committee with them that was just launched. So you guys will be hearing about that soon. And that is so important to me because now I'm part of educating others as well. And I'm a female. And that is my mission, is to show people that you can look how you look, you can be who you are, and you can be successful, because it's all about who you are as a person and the connections that you make and the family that you create. And I'm out there and I'm doing it. And when Donnie reached out to do this bourbon, I was just like, yes, please, because that's just another avenue for me to reach a larger audience of women and people who think that they're not capable and they're not deserving, or that they can't do something because of whatever it is. And I'm here to say, yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can do and be whatever you want. I mean, Josh comes from the motivational world, 20 years of looking like this rock star badass who's going around the world talking to people in suits and ties about how to structure their brand different and how to market right. And, like all these things. And it's so crazy because it was 6 years ago that we drank Penelope because of an influencer on social media that was so adamant about sending us a bottle of Penelope 6 years ago, before I owned a brand, before we had any idea what Penelope was. And here we are. The universe brought us to this point where now I have done this and I own a cigar brand, and that person is still in our lives that originally brought us Penelope 6 years ago. Like, what in the world? Like, how great is that? And that's when you know you're doing the right thing and you're making waves and you are succeeding in life. And it's not just about monetary things. It's about who you are on the inside and the relationships that you make. And you just need to keep going with that and creating those relationships and just moving forward. I mean, this is proof. We are all different companies and businesses and brands. And here we are making it work and creating family and all getting along and creating these beautiful things. And it's awesome. And I love everybody. And I'm not buzzed or drunk. I'm just telling you.
And a quick shout out to What the Kicks, Jeremy Hedden, because it was
he's the one, yeah.
6 years ago he made us aware of Penelope, and without him we probably eventually would have, because Donnie would have been like, bro, you got to check this shit out.
And it's funny because Jeremy and I have been together for a long time through CZs, through guns.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Impact Machine and CZ Gun. Yeah, it's I've known Jeremy for a long time.
Yep.
Nice.
And he has drank hundreds of bottles of bourbon of all different brands. And he was like, you've got to try Penelope. And we're like, what is Penelope? And he's like, this bottle is so expensive. I don't even care. I'm going to send you a dram of it. You got to try it. And that's how it started. And we had no idea at the time. And here we are. It's just life is crazy and things happen the way it's supposed to happen to good people who deserve it. Donnie, you are one of those.
So I will say this: Josh has made a couple of comments, and all of them have been about him sitting back in a room and realizing that he was impressed with the different things that each person was able to bring, and they set aside ego, and he was he's made a couple of comments about that. So I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I also want to put you on the spot. So thinking back over the process over the last couple of years, and you've got Lee that's looking at all the people involved. You got Donnie who's looking at all of them, Matt, Cynn, and Josh. You look at each other and you're realizing that each one of these people are bringing in something remarkable to help make this happen. Mm-hmm. What is something that sticks in your mind, either from one of the Zoom meetings or the Vegas meeting, that you're like, wow, this person, whoever it is, what they bring to the table is absolutely mind-blowing. It's what's going to help make this work.
I'll start because I have no stake in it.
That was a question for you anyway.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's a question for all of you.
As far as that goes, honestly, me getting to just, hear the Penelope guys talk about crazy shit whiskey related that I'm just totally not aware of was mind-blowing. It was nice to hear Cynthia be able to talk about things that really she doesn't talk about with me much, because obviously, like, we're around every day and we don't discuss the ins and outs and particulars about blends and things like that and history and yada, yada. So it's nice to hear that. With Lee, as little or as much as maybe I know you, Lee, it was really interesting for me because I do know that you're about as no bullshit as people come. And it was really nice to hear you continue that with, if you question something, it was genuine and sincere. It wasn't being an asshole. It's because you need to know, because that informs the rest of your process. And that was really cool to see, because it wasn't just some surface level bullshit. And Donnie, again, just, you nailed it every time with kind of bridging all the gaps and filling in the holes and understanding really what your role was. You knew it from the get-go. So it was awesome to see you kind of still to this day with the promotion and everything else, just kind of filling those holes and understanding everybody's piece and their role as well and how they fit. So, and again, without that, this wouldn't have happened. So that's my take on it all.
Yeah, I mean, for me, thanks, Josh. I appreciate that. My reputation does precede me. No, I think for me, it was just as a collective. Like when you put this many people in a room that care so much about creating something, it's just nice that everyone was focused on the end product. Like that was just really refreshing. You know, everyone has their own way of going about selling it or whatever, but like just the fact that when we were meeting, we all had one goal, and everyone and really everyone has said it. It's my turn. Donnie, you did a great job, man. I mean, just putting everyone in a room and putting everyone together, that's really, really important. Probably the most important part, right? So I'm just there's not enough I can say about that. I think the team really just focused on, we really all became Penelope, to be honest. You know, it was all about doing this one thing. It wasn't about whose brand stood out or whatever. It was just about making sure that we did the best we could do.
He's not on for me to say this, and I certainly not taking anything away from Cynn and Lee. I love them both, but I think I saw Danny in a completely different light in that meeting at PCA. I've been involved in a lot, I'm saying a lot of blending sessions with a lot of different people that Danny's also been a part of, but it was different. It was very different being in a room with Lee and Cynn and Danny, and just seeing Danny in a totally different light, in the way that, like Matt was saying, he's been with them for how many years, and now understanding that he, you know, the numbers that he's working with, the final, you know, 72, 15, 13, those numbers, and what if it's 71, 14, 12? What if it's this, you know? I remember very early, a year or two in, we were in a blending session, and I know you all know mechanics, and mechanics have these fantastic tool chests, right? These freaking $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 snap-on tool chests behind them. And I remember I was on a call with Danny one night, and I can't remember who we were working with, and he turns around and pulls out a drawer of a tool chest that's just rode out with fucking samples. And he's like, well, let's try this, and let's put this and this, and I'll put this together, and I'll send that to you, and you let me know how that goes. And I'm just like, how the fuck do you keep that all sorted?
That was batch 12, by the way. I remember it was batch 12.
That was, dude, unbelievable. So I absolutely love Lisa and Josh. Thank you for your involvement. And as long as I've been around and seen Danny, this was different. It was just different. The aura, the time, the space, it was different. And I think it truly is a testament to the fact that this bottle, this beautiful bottle that you have shown on the screen right now, was a huge labor of love for everybody involved. I mean, we really wanted to make this something that everyone could be proud of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't a gimmick. It wasn't a matter of, okay, let's do another blend, let's get this out and, you know, keep everyone in suspense. You know, this was truly a labor of love from so many people, and it made it so unique. And you know, it makes it exciting for the next round and to see what else happens. So it's awesome.
So before you go into the next round, what was the moment where you all realized, holy shit, we have something.
Las Vegas.
In Vegas.
Yeah,
Vegas,
especially after Danny was like, okay, well, what if I tweak this a little bit? And, you know, our answers were still the same,
Yep.
you know, just across the room. That's when I think for me, there was that validation of, we got it. Like, this is it, you know?
It's like, I'll give you my, it's like when a rock, you know, when like a rock band's together, they're backstage and everyone's got their role, they're all in their particular places. And maybe they're jamming to create a new song. And then everyone looks at each other and goes, oh shit, that's the riff we're going to use. Oh crap, this is it. That to me is what happened. It was like the band was like in their respective roles, all went, that's the song we're playing right here.
Yeah.
Well put.
It is.
Time just kind of stopped. Time just kind of stopped when he put the. I mean, with all the samples that he was on his knees at a table. I have a picture of him on his knees with these beakers, with these fucking blending, and he's sending these glasses around the room. And when we hit that blend, it was like, oh, that's it. That's awesome.
Can you send us some of these pictures you guys have been taking? Because we
yeah,
would
we
love to, when we go ahead and put, you know, the information out next or starting, you know, tomorrow about listen to this, that we can actually start posting some of those pictures as well.
Oh yeah, we have all those. Yep, absolutely.
I would love to have those pictures.
2024? Was that PCA 2024?
Yeah,
because we were like a year into blending at that point, I believe, right? That was like the third round that we did. So we were already pretty confident in the blend or blends. And I think that was the one where we were like, yeah, we're not changing anything. Like, this is definitely what it is.
Yep.
I will say, I know it's too early in the show for thank yous, but like I want to thank all of you because like this is why we do this show. Like we want that backstory, and yeah, we usually start way back, you know what I mean? But like just hearing the process of this and being able to sit here and drink it with you guys it's given me chills like twice tonight, which is fucking cool. Like this is amazing. And just I appreciate all you guys, man. This is unbelievable. What a great evening. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk. This is Cigar Sessions, chapter number 1. Please, God, tell me there's a chapter 2.
My lips are sealed.
I was going to say, this is all on that right now.
I knew that was coming.
So
I'll say
like
that there's a reason it's chapter 1.
I'll make it easy.
I was about to say, that's like asking the government what happens, what's going on, and they say, we can neither confirm or deny. So you know it's happening.
I think it would be weird. I think honestly, it would be kind of weird if we put chapter 1 on a random bottle.
The room
Stranger
just got
things have
super
happened.
quiet. The room just got super quiet, and I'm like, Jesus, here we are again. It's all right. We understand.
But the real question is, are they playing the long game or the short game? Because is this 10 years later, chapter 2, or is this 2 years later, chapter 2?
So,
or is it you guys have already been testing stuff out and you've already got an idea, and chapter 2 is more like next year?
Well, I will say that when we were in that beautiful room in Vegas, there were other things that kind of.
I was about to say, you guys have already said that there was like 2 or 3 different blends that you loved. This one just happened to be the one you went with. So is one of those other blends already in the process of becoming number 2?
I wouldn't say
I'm
that.
just asking.
I would say that the groundwork has been laid for the path that I think we want to take. And I think there's a couple other things that I'd like to bring up. You know, when the label first came out, so there's that one brand, that Instagram that surfs the TTB website and pops up.
Yep.
You know, we didn't even know when that was going to hit fucking social media, right?
That's where I saw it first.
So when it first came out, the label was different. I don't know if you recognize that or not, but this didn't used to be called Cigar Sessions. It was Cigar Series.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the change to Cigar Sessions definitely embodies more of what we were looking for. So whoever made that change, I don't know who decided to make that change, but kudos to them, because I think that was important to set the groundwork.
They
I will
saw
say-
Vegas session. They saw Vegas as a session that would have
Yeah.
multiple iterations. So that's why they wanted to go that route. By the way, that label, I will tell you, operationally, was a nightmare. But I think it's testament to Mike and Danny. They came up with the label design. I know they shared it with everyone here. To put that level of foil in that label, in that intricacy, is not easy on a round bottle. I will tell you right now. I've had a lot of sleepless nights on that thing for sure.
It turned out
Absolutely gorgeous.
Too bad there
Gorgeous.
can't be a collaboration that has a cigar that comes out with a matching label. Just saying.
That would be cool.
You know, something
will
special
share-
blended by both Stolen Thrones and, ooh, that's nice.
Can you
A
see
label
this
that is
picture?
or a
Yeah.
blend that is Stolen Thrones
cool.
and Dissident on a nice cigar that has a matching label. That would be a great cigar to pair with something.
That'd be interesting.
And that
Huh.
is a lot of whiskey on a table. I just
Yeah,
want to be
so
a part of
much-
that room right now.
I was going to share this right now. So you can see on one end, you'll see Danny. On the very other end, you see Mike. And
Wow.
they're literally discussing with Donnie the blends that we just came up with and finalized. So this is a really awesome picture because it just encompasses everything that we did that night. And that table is a damn mess. It was no joke.
I see that.
It was
Back to,
organized chaos, and it was beautiful.
So
Back to
so I
some-
don't go ahead.
No, I was
go
gonna
ahead,
say
man.
back to Cigar Sessions. I mean, literally, I feel like this is such a perfect opportunity for us to be like, man, we're so honored to be having all of you guys on right now because it is our Cigar Sessions, and you guys are. It's the first podcast that I know of that you guys are kind of introducing it on, talking about the backstory. So we're honored as hell, man. So like all of you guys, again, thank you. Like I've enjoyed tonight probably as much as I've enjoyed any of these shows, and I feel like I haven't done anything. So thank you all.
So I looked at that picture like I look at a dive bar when I go into it, and you always see dollar bills hanging up, signed or whatever, and stuff like that. And just like what we did with Cynn with the Female Domination Month, that picture needs to be printed, and everybody involved needs to write a message on there, and everybody needs a photocopy of that and hang it in their office somewhere. I'm just
Nice.
saying, because that is that picture right there is that moment of we have something. That's our baby. Our baby's being born. So that would be awesome.
Maybe we should
So-
do that for KBF. That would be fun for the Kentucky Bourbon Festival.
Yeah,
Wow.
everybody will be there.
Hey,
Oh
Mick,
yeah,
we need to be
there's
there.
some news for everyone.
I'm there. Let's go.
So a couple of things really quickly. John jumps on here and says he is a Penelope virgin. He's now breaking into his first bottle, and it is the Cigar Sessions.
Love that.
Nice.
Nice.
Post
It's a
it
good
in.
one,
Let us
too.
know what you think. I was looking through here to see if any body has posted any questions. I think everybody's been listening.
Someone
But-
actually asked if I was Australian, and I'm going to
Yeah,
tell them.
I saw that on there. I posted it on there.
Sorry, try again.
He says he's not Australian. He just comes from the deep, deep, deep south.
There you go. I do put ER on the end of every word for some unknown reason.
So let's see. I was seeing if anybody had any other questions. What are the next chapter releases? We've already gone over that one. So what is coming up with you guys in the future when it comes to whiskey? I mean, are you guys kind of chilling out, taking a break for a little while? Or are you back in the shop?
Ross?
Penelope is always innovating.
Oh no!
I'm talking
Please,
about
please.
all of you together because this is like the band that can't break up. So this band has to keep rolling, has to keep producing music.
Well, look, the whole point of this is that, as I said before, this is a family at this point. And, look, the first one took 2 years. So, we gotta get the right vibe and the right setting, and everyone's got to feel good about it. And I think if everyone feels right about it, then yeah, that's the best way to look at it.
Love it. So before we end things out and we go into the final part of the episode, we do have the hotbox questions, which is a few random questions that we get to ask you guys, and you guys can just blurt out shit as quick as you can. Let's have some fun with it. So as always, we want to say, are y'all ready to play some hotbox questions?
Si, senor.
Yeah. So we have to thank the sponsor for hotbox questions. Thanks to Beard Apothecary.
Hey guys, listen up. Give your beard the VIP treatment it deserves with Beard Apothecary. They are a small business on a big mission, crafting top-tier beard care products made by hand in small batches for ultimate freshness and care. A healthy, well-groomed beard isn't just a look, it's a lifestyle. That's why they use only the finest premium butters and oils to deeply nourish your beard and skin. No more dryness, irritation, or those dreaded split ends. Your beard will be living its best life, soft, manageable, and downright irresistible. At Beard Apothecary, they believe in the power of natural ingredients and serious pampering. Why settle for basic when your beard can be freaking legendary? Check them out at beardapothecary.com or on Instagram at beard_apothecary. Your beard will thank you.
I do use Beard Apothecary.
We live by
it is some nice shit.
Go ahead and say that again so I can clip that. Go ahead and say that.
I do use Beard Apothecary, and it's some good shit. I like it.
And Lee approves this message.
I actually wrote the name down when you said something earlier, because I've been trying to figure out something to keep away from the frickin' dandruff.
Oh, bro, it is the best stuff in the world. I use it
100% natural, homemade. As two people who live by Beard Apothecary products, whether we both have the car diffusers in our vehicles, Mick and I both use the butters. We absolutely love everything that Tanya and John are putting out. Tanya makes it. She's our favorite Aldi. But John is the beard behind the product. So if you're looking for some amazing beard care products,
I'll check
they have a new beard wash that's out that really helps with the itchy and the dryness. So it's great stuff.
Oh yeah, the butter's outstanding. Every day, man. Every day that butter.
Oh, yeah.
It's good stuff.
So we're going to ask a couple of questions. We're going to start with the Coburns up top. We'll go around to Lee, down to Donnie, up to Matt, and then all the way back around. So you can keep it as quick or as short as you want, or you can go into something funny. We don't care. We just want to have a good time. So Mick always starts us out. Let's go, Mick.
Question number 1. What is your least favorite sound?
Chewing.
Shit, I got nothing. I give so few shits that it doesn't matter.
I love it.
Chewing's a good one. I don't have one off the top of my head. Yeah, I don't know. I have more shits than Josh, but I don't have anything else. Chewing's a good one though.
All right.
I'm drawing a blank. I don't know.
It's that scraping on the chalkboard for me. I can't scream.
Yeah, that's bad.
We've had babies crying has been a big one recently too,
That's
especially
what I
on
was
a
gonna
plane.
say.
Yeah.
Oh, on a plane, yeah, 100%. I live on them.
Well, see, mine goes 2 different routes. Mine is if a baby is sick and it's crying, I lose my shit because I can't help the baby and it can't tell me what's wrong. The other one is going with Cynn is with mouth noises. So I listen to all my podcasts, whether it's whiskey, cigars, whatever, through earbuds while I'm driving because I drive a lot. And when you get somebody in your ear and all you hear is them smacking, I literally have to change the episode and can't listen to the rest of it. All right, so I'm going to change this up a little bit for you guys. So for you, the experience that you guys just went through over the last 2 years, long experience, fill in the blank for me. This experience has taught me what?
Trust.
It's taught me that I still love collaborating with other people more than going it alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and as business owners, you tend to have a lot of control of things, and I think it's a lesson in trusting other people when usually you're the one with the reins. I think that's always a good one, but that comes with any collab, and it's always great to collab with other people.
I think experiencing other people's processes. I think it's very easy to become myopic into your own process of how you do things and create things. And so seeing and experiencing other people's process kind of like broadened the horizons for sure.
I was just waiting to see if Matt had anything to say.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize it was me. I tuned out for a minute. I was thinking. No, honestly, this is going to sound weird, but it's actually taught me to be just a little bit more relaxed and cooler in life because of everyone else's approach and their personalities, which is nice. Because when you're on this side of the house, it gets a little stressful every now and again. But meeting all these wonderful folks has just been kind of cool because they're kind of cool cats. So for me, it's like, how do you get that work balance life going on, which is pretty cool.
You can't rush the ritual of a great cigar.
100%.
So whiskey's a little different. You can definitely rush drinking your whiskey. You can't rush smoking a cigar.
All right.
100%. All right. So I believe I may have asked this one to Cynn before. If I didn't know we were actually going to do Hotbox tonight, I may have changed these. But do you have a favorite musical band or artist?
Ooh. No, because my brain is so it doesn't matter what type of music it is. If it sounds good, then I enjoy it. If it resonates with me, then it's a song for me. So there's no particular favorite band or anything. Those of you that know Dissident know that I did the plasmatic cigar because of Wendy O. Williams. She's a female in the punk world, and she blazed her own trail, and it was important for me to highlight that. But there's so many wonderful bands out there and people and songs and reasons for things. So I cannot name a single one. Music in general, I live by music. I think it feeds a lot of people. So yeah.
It's mood specific for me, which I think is, or maybe activity specific. If I'm in the gym, that's different than if I'm working. If I'm feeling like I need inspiration, that's different. So, it covers the gamut from old school poets like Leonard Cohen and, then Black Flag and Slayer and all the other bullshit that comes in between. If you don't have the Beastie Boys on the list, who even are you? There's so many things that fall into that. So
I will agree with him on the mood specific stuff because, I will say that in our family over the past couple of years, we've had a lot of medical issues going on, including with our daughter. And so a lot of my music is meditative, just trying to calm down because I'm if I listen to the heavy metal music that I used to listen to, I think I'd be just raging and taking a bat to everything. So I have found an appreciation for piano music and orchestra and different frequencies. I'm just ooh,
I'm actually really curious of Lee's answer because you're talking about Rick Rubin.
So am I.
You have Slayer and Black Sabbath, but then you have the Chili Peppers and this. Then you have all the weird artists in there that nobody talks about, and Johnny Cash. Where are you at? I'm
yeah,
curious.
I'm I'm eclectic as you nailed it, but I get teased a lot around here. I love fucking sad music. It doesn't matter. I'm not one of those people that need super amped up stuff when I'm in the gym. So yeah, the
Are you
Highwayman,
listening to,
like Johnny.
Cohen.
Yeah, the National, like just
Oh
sad.
yeah, oh yeah. I want like I get so pissed off when like my artists get skinny and happy. I hate it. I want them fat and sad. But like I listen. I mean Johnny Cash, of course. Like but I'm an old school outlaw music guy. So like my big three are always Jamie Johnson, Tyler Childers, Sturgill Simpson. Those guys
Oh,
are
yeah.
like
Ooh, those
those
are
are
good
the
ones.
guys. Yeah, Jamie Johnson, I've probably seen like 100 times. There's an infamous Facebook post where I did pay a security guard an undisclosed amount of money to smoke cigars in the front row at a Jamie Johnson concert.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I like sad music. I like the stuff that makes you feel things. I like everything. Of course, but like, yeah, I always revert back to that outlaw music, Johnny Cash. Willie and Waylon, and but my three favorites of all time right now are Jamie Johnson, Sturgill, and Tyler Childers for sure.
Teskey Brothers. Have you heard of them? You need to look
I
them
have.
up if you haven't. Oh,
Yeah, the Teskey brothers. Yeah, they
it's
have
really
everything,
good.
man. They look like Hemsworths, and they fucking sing like Otis Redding. Fucking bastards.
Yeah, crazy
They have everything.
stuff. They're really
They have
good.
everything.
I'll say that I'm also eclectic. I think from rap, punk, rock, heavy metal, Pantera is going to stand out. I'm not going to go into detail, but the last year has been a pretty dark part of my life. So Five Finger Death Punch and Breaking Benjamin have been coming up on my playlist a lot, going along with the sad stuff that Lee's talking about.
Yeah, I love it.
Just feeds the angst and the
I also have a little girl, so I listen to a lot more Taylor Swift than I'd care to admit. But I just music is everything, right? I like storytelling and I like sadness.
Dude, do you listen to the Gaslight Anthem by chance?
I do, yeah.
You want to talk about like what Springsteen wish he still was?
Yeah.
That's storytelling, man.
Yeah, that's like I get people when a new album drops, they're like, "Oh, what do you think of Jamie's new album?" I'm like, "He's too happy. I hate it." Like Midnight Gasoline is great, but the rest of the stuff he can keep it. I want sad. I want high cost of living, that kind of shit,
Yeah, I'm across the board, but I kind of grew up when it was Queen and all that type of music. But
yes,
I don't know if you know a band called Alabama Shakes, but I'm kind of into that soul kind of thing. That's my kind of relaxed music. Honestly, if I'm sitting at my desk and I'm hammering on email, it is full blast in my office EDM music with a giant bass going on because I gotta handle it somehow, right? So across the board for me.
There's a science behind that. Did you know that?
No.
Yes.
Oh, really?
You need to look it up. There's a reason why your brain connects with that music during those times. It's very interesting.
Oh, I'm like the most ultra productive person when there's just literally my whole house is shaking and I'm just like smacking on the thing.
Well, and like European EDM is a different experience.
Oh,
When I was living in Europe, they will literally make anything EDM. Like I was in a club when I was living in Ireland. I was in a club one time. They literally fucking made an EDM cut of fucking Garth Brooks.
Oh yeah.
I was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And they loved it, and it was a banger.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love live music too. I'm really into it.
Oh yeah.
Like, anything that's live will just get me perplexed. Like there's a gentleman, you should look him up online, Dustin Monk and the Hustle, phenomenal guy who's based in North Florida, has a band. But funny enough, I got to see him on a cruise ship, which is of all places, like I wouldn't ever have expected to see this phenomenal musician with his band. And it just captivated me from that point on. It's
that's just the experience of live music, man. If you've never experienced like bar hopping on Broadway, and you just see the talent, and you're like, why is this person not cutting albums?
Exactly.
And then but even in like Nicaragua, like when I go to Esteli, like on Thursday nights, there's a little nightclub called Bliss. They do live music every Thursday night. I'm there every Thursday night. Just like the live music, there's just something about it. Yeah, it's
Nicaragua, their music, they have that stuff on like 20. I mean, anything can be good, but then your ears are just like ringing in this country because they can't have it loud enough in Nicaragua. We can hear so much from our house, and town is like 10 minutes away. And we are at the top of a mountain, and we're just like hearing all of it. And I'm like,
I also love that they're like
mountain for a reason.
I also love that they're like 10 years behind. Like Lincoln Park is really big right now in Nicaragua.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So true.
I do great in Nicaragua, apparently, because my neighbors must hate me for the amount of music I'm pumping in my house. So I look yeah.
So for all the people that always ask why, what's the big deal about asking these questions? This is the reason why. Because this just became a full-on conversation about music. So love that.
Yeah.
So
I saw somebody mention Terror.
I knew you were gonna say
I can't let that go. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. So if you're not aware,
so
Terror
John says Converge or Terror.
Yeah, Converge is great, but Terror is the shit.
Steve Vai.
There you go.
An amazing artist.
I think music also, like, just to round out for my thing, is like it's also a connection to like your friends, your family, and like people you've met in life too. Like many years ago, we were still really good friends, but they introduced me to a particular band, and we went to see them live. And I'll never forget that, because I would never have had that experience if they hadn't have said, "This is probably." And by the way, it all started with, "This is probably not going to be your thing, but I'm forcing you to go to this." And I was like, man, forcing the British guy here to go to something he's not going to like is going to end really well for you. But yeah, it was awesome. It's like, I think those are the experiences that you get just by,
whether you realize it or not, it has influences on your life. I grew up with my grandparents in Baltimore, so I have like, of course, this deep-seated love of rap music, and then I'm hearing Motown and country music. And then it's like, as you mature and you go through different things, it changes your aspects. And I remember vividly when I was a kid, I fucking hated Willie Nelson. I hated his voice. I hated everything about it. Then you get up, you grow up a little bit, and you go through some shit, and you start listening, and you're like,
yeah, 100%.
Man, Willie's been through some shit. He knows what he's talking about.
He starts singing, and all of a sudden, you just sit back and go, "Yep, I know exactly what he's feeling."
That's right.
Yep.
All right, so question number 4, and this is, you cannot pick anything cigar or whiskey related. So it can be music, movies, food, or anything else in that category. What is your favorite guilty pleasure? When no one else is watching, what is your favorite guilty pleasure?
I feel guilty about nothing.
Yeah, me too. I like what I like. I don't really give a shit. It's
all right. So what is that one pleasure that you have that everybody else would go, huh? Okay, I wouldn't have picked that.
I know one.
I don't know. I think I'm pretty predictable. Like I still watch a lot of sports. I had a football career for a time in an old life, but I watch a shit ton of sports still. And now that I have a son, he's 3, infatuated with baseball already. So like that's a cool thing. But like I'm with Josh, I'm not guilty about anything.
Yeah,
I like what I like.
Right on. What's mine? You say.
Oh, I was gonna say that I wouldn't say guilty because him and I are the same. Like we don't feel guilty about anything. We do what we want. We don't care. But I will say every night, his like time to relax, he will always have some kind of music article up, and I'm like, "What are you reading?" And he's like, "Oh, it's about this drummer who back in 1996 he did this drum solo, and then he got in a car accident, and a plane accident, and he switched to this band and this and that, and blah blah blah." And I'm just like, "You do you, bud."
Yeah.
Like,
I guess that would probably be it. I do have an encyclopedic knowledge of dumb music facts. So
there's a fun fact. Josh was on VH1 when he was 18, because he was, I don't know if you'd consider it an obsession, but he was really into Motley Crue, and so much so that he was actually on VH1. And as this like small town kid who loved Motley Crue, and he was the weird one with the tattoos and his small town,
Hey,
And you
wait,
can
wait,
still
wait.
find
Hang on. I think I seen this the other day. Was this when you were getting the
did
chest
post
tattoo done?
about it.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
posted like a little clip.
That's where I
because
saw
was
it.
25 years. And I couldn't believe it in 25 years because holy shit. But
Wow.
yeah, so it's
Doesn't
really
even look like
interesting.
him. Yeah, pretty crazy. But you know, what's funny is the other night we were sitting outside and just smoking cigars, and it was about 2 weeks ago. And my son is all about using Chat GPT, right? So he's like, I wonder if Chat GPT will bring up like crazy odd facts about metal music from like the 80s and 90s. And I'm thinking there's no way this will work. And sure enough, this long list comes up and Austin is just like asking these questions and Josh is just rocking back and forth, just like answering every question. And then one of them, was this one question. He's like, that's a trick question because the real answer is this, this, and this. And I'm just like looking like, no way. There's no way he got this right. And sure enough, like even that one was right. And so I'm sitting there just recording everything. And I'm like, do I post this? Like, are people going to think like this is crazy, like Madman stuff, like Rain Man or like, but he's so knowledgeable with that stuff. It blows my mind, the stuff that he knows. So that's a pleasure of his, but I wouldn't say he's guilty about it.
Yeah. And for the record, Lee, if I get you alone at PCA or whatever, and we're sitting around, I'll be picking your brain about Rick Rubin shit because I also like his history and his approach to things.
Dude,
so.
Yeah. No, I have a weird obsession with him. I've read his book like 4 times. He's awesome, dude. He's actually producing the new Tyler Childers album, which drops the day after my birthday. I'm super stoked about it.
Nice.
I will say the one thing that I can't get sucked into is the amount that he talks business and marketing. And I mean, he's a marketing madman. It says it on his social media. That is so not like me at all. And he will go down this huge rabbit hole with marketing and business. And I'm like, my brain is not there, dude. Like I cannot, but he has such a deep passion for that kind of stuff. And he blows me away with his knowledge of even business. And I mean, he's written stuff for the White House before. Like he's
sort of. And credit to my business partner for all that stuff.
Yeah, he was used a lot for even in DC and his mind, he's so good with that stuff, but that is not my wheelhouse. I'm the one that at night I'll be on TikTok until I fall asleep. And my other pleasure would be Dirty Dancing and Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, I'll give you that. So if you guys ever see slow motion videos of me on a rock, doing like Tai Chi shit, it's because I'm really trying to impress my wife with my roadhouse moves. I haven't torn any throats out, but my life ain't over yet.
I'll say that a guilty pleasure for me is EDC stuff, custom guns, custom knives, super steels, $150 pens. I like nice things.
Nice.
Mine is actually playing cards. So just playing poker, and it's because my brain never shuts off. So I actually have this little place I go, and it's kind of cool. It's a bunch of old dudes, they've played probably poker for 200 years at this point. And my guilty pleasure is trying to outsmart these guys who literally are hustlers for like 3 hours. They're just like these. I have never met a group, and some of these folks like 80s, 90s, they are the biggest hustlers I've ever met in my life. And they're just dealing it up. They're the smartest poker players I've ever met in my life. And it's just like my guilty pleasure is trying to beat them whenever I go up there. So, but yeah, that's my thing.
Are those the type of guys that are doing side bets about your heart rate when it's your turn to fuck?
Oh, 100%, dude. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, like they'll even stop a game because like one of them is allegedly going to the bathroom, but he's like texting the pool of people outside, like, "Hey, I got a new kid here. Let's see if we can get him rolling."
All right, so first off, I'm going to make another statement. I just realized I got to redo all the questions before we have Lee on again in September, so that really bums me out. Next question number 5, and this is the one, and this is the one that Matt Booth called me an asshole on and got us banned from Instagram.
Okay.
Is cereal a soup?
Technically, yes, but also no.
All right. I'll take the yes and no.
Autism pays off if you're talking logic.
Hang on. I think it depends on what comes first.
Sorry, Josh. I'm putting that on a T-shirt. That quote right there is going to be on my next T-shirt.
What did I even say? Autism pays off?
The first thing that comes up in Google is cereal. It's funny. That's funny.
I always try to preface this like it's protein in liquid. Like, I mean, it's a soup, right? I mean, but everybody's like, Booth was fucking pissed. Like he was.
Hey, I'm just saying, there's a lot of things that you could say proteins in liquid, and it's not a soup. So hush.
Well, there is that. Yeah, there
There's
is.
a bunch of swimmers in there, though.
I'm gonna mute myself now. All right, cool.
I'm gonna say no.
Google AI says no. Not generally. I wouldn't consider it a soup.
Well, now I'm concerned because like one of the labels we're coming out is actually called cereal milk. So now I'm like really concerned.
But my question is do we believe that it's soup, or is it actually by definition soup? Because those are different things.
100%. And to me, it's like how you actually like create it is the definition to me. So yeah.
I'll be completely honest with you. I don't even personally believe that it's soup, but I've been trying to sell it for like a year now. So it is.
So you have a hashtag that is starting right now. That's not a soup.
Not a soup. Hashtag not a soup.
I mean, technically, the cereal can be like the crackers for the milk, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why I
In
say.
Nicaragua, they consider it a dessert. You can literally go to like these cereal places, like as if you're going to get ice cream. And you order cereal and you eat it as a dessert. Yeah, it's crazy here. Like, it's not a breakfast thing.
Fruity Pebbles for me, please. Fruity Pebbles.
Same. I probably couldn't eat it now after living here so long, but back in the day, yeah.
Yummy.
Yes, somebody told us that you can go to these dessert bars and now get cereal, basically. I can't remember who it was, though. I have to go back.
So that just tells you how much sugar they're putting in that. Yeah, I don't eat soup anymore. Eggs and sausage for breakfast for me.
Hell yeah.
So another one starting is hashtag Mick is wrong. So. All right. So question number 6: what is the one thing in your life that you're most proud of?
Kids.
I know, hard one.
Yeah.
Not
Kids.
at all.
It's pretty easy.
Kids.
Probably, well, for me, it was actually probably leaving the UK and coming to the US to start a life with about $300 in my pocket. That was it. No credit score, just grinding it out from the start, and really just trying to like do different things in life. Like the proudest part for me is like I would never thought. I moved here 20 years ago, and I never thought I would be working for a bourbon company 20 years later. I actually, by trade, I'm an electrical engineer. That's what I trained in. And I never thought I'd be in this industry. I've been in the hotels business for a very long time as well. But yeah, just challenging myself, I would say, for me.
Damn. Well, that's what my son is. Actually, he is working to get his journeyman's. Is an industrial electrician, so that's what he's working on right now. So,
wow.
Mick, we need to get Matt on here just to do a Matt show sometime. I think he's got some good stories for us.
Definitely got some good stories.
I think we could take it back.
If you can get time on his schedule, holy shit!
When Josh
Matt, do you have time in September? Because I was tasked with booking September, and I still have like 2 open dates.
Sure.
I can message you. Yeah,
there you go. Perfect. Done.
All right, cool.
It's funny, like you're talking about Motley Crue earlier. I've got like the most insane story about a concert I went to there. I was stuck on an island that has no nation attached to it for a day, which is the world's most bizarre thing ever. Yeah, that was random. My old boss at the time, I called him and I was like, if you don't get me off this island, I am literally going to resign right now. So helicopter, boat, whatever you want to do. I was shot at in Johannesburg, and that's a whole story. Oh, yeah, they go on from that. I should write a book, actually, at this point.
You should. I know a guy that can help with that. I've written a few, so let's talk.
Bro, I'd love to, because you know what it would be called? Smelt it, felt it, dealt it.
I love it.
I'm
already in. I'll help you.
No,
Save a few of these for September. That'd be great, man. Save
of course. But I remember doing one of these a long time ago, and I don't know. So someone texted me the other day, and they're like, "Oh my god, I still remember that story you told on that podcast." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not sure whether I should have gone that deep." They were like, "No, it was like it probably changed my life, but I'm not sure whether it was better or worse at this point." So.
All right, so question number 7. If you could choose a superpower, what would it be and why?
See the future.
Oh, that's kind of scary.
It's coming.
I'd probably teleport just because it'd save me in travel expenses, and I could see my family back home. I could be here. I could be in the studio right now hanging with you guys and back home in 15 minutes. So probably teleportation for that reason. And then I could, travel anywhere quickly.
I was going to say the same thing, but since he took it, I would probably say to be able to go back and talk to my younger self. All the way from when I was a little girl, just because, I have a very deep story as well. I've been through a million things, homelessness and you name it. I've been in a mass shooting, been in abuse ever since I was a child. And if I could just go back and tell the little girl me that it was never my fault, I think the view of myself would be different. It's better now, obviously, because I went from, this one thing to now where I'm at, but it took a lot of self-love to get to where I'm at. And had I known that I wasn't a bad person, and a little girl can't be guilty of anything, that I was just this innocent little girl. If I could just go back and tell her it was never your fault for all these things that I've gone through ever since childhood and adult, and, the things that I've witnessed. And, I think I would have been way more prepared, and maybe, I don't know, life, I think the universe puts you where you need to be at the right time. So I don't know. I would love to be able to go back and talk to her, but I also know that I'm a very strong individual and timing is everything. And maybe if I was in a different place at a different time, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So
way better answer than mine.
Well, you took what I was going to say. So now I had to get all deep.
I think I would slow down time. Building a brand and all the business adventures that I have, I miss a lot of things. Miss a lot of things with my kids. So I like to slow down time.
That's a good one.
Is it me now, or is it Donnie?
It's you,
I already gave mine.
I don't want one. I just don't think I'm the most responsible person.
That makes more sense. Got it.
That's it. I'll be honest. I don't. I think it would be a complete nightmare.
A superpower could be to just wipe your brain so you didn't think all the time.
Look into the light.
Yeah, true. I actually want to slightly become dumber. It would be awesome. That would be working
it's a lot more blissful.
Blissfully unaware.
Yeah.
Bingo.
All right. So question number 8. I asked you earlier, what is the one thing that you saw in each one of the people that you had in this team working together for this? What is something that you saw in them that made, this work? So now the question is, what is one thing that you found in yourself through this process that you learned about yourself that you didn't know before?
Cynn said mine when she kind of started answering this is just, or maybe it's a different question, but just laying back and watching the process instead of being on top of it, being in control of all of it, giving up the reins is not easy for me. So it was good to do that.
I don't know that I learned anything about myself. I think with any company that you own where there's like mass production of something, I think there's always a little bit of second guessing and wondering whether you truly have nailed something or not. Especially, you know, when you're an owner of a cigar company where you don't have other people blending with you. You have to hope for the best. You know what you're smoking is something that you like, and you're not going to please everybody. But with this experience, it was confirmation for me, because I got to hear the similar responses to my answers through Lee and through Josh and Donnie and Danny and Mike and Matt, just all coming together and having similar thoughts on things was just confirmation that, like, not that I do know what I'm talking about, but I know what I'm doing, and the things that I've learned are legit, and they're being truly put to use, I guess. Because when you're on your own ship, sometimes you just go at it, you're just throwing shit on a wall, you know, and when you have a team of people, it becomes real, and you can see that, you know, this effort is worth it, and it's true. And
so yours is more of an affirmation that you're on the right track.
Yeah, I would say so.
That's awesome. Lee?
I think for me, it's just about, you know, putting yourself in positions of uncertainty. You know, I've always been good about being secure with who I am and what I'm capable of, but allowing the process to come to me and something that isn't something that I dedicated years of, you know, effort and time and sacrifice to, you know.
I think mine would be I should never live in Vegas.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. My spirit animal is Ric Flair, so I can't do Vegas very long.
Yeah, dude.
Woo!
Yeah, brother. I would be, I don't know. I think it would be a mess.
Donnie?
It's not something new that I've learned, but clearly from this, I'm horrible at taking compliments. So just understanding that you're capable of amazing things and accept what goes along with that.
Nice. And you have set up something that was amazing, sir. So accept the compliments and live with it. Good job. Mick?
All right. Sorry, I got wrapped up in a moment there. I apologize. All right. So question number 9. My last question for the night. If you could have a cigar with any historical figure, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
And you can't say Jesus.
It would be cool, though.
I don't know. I think.
Go ahead, Josh. No. I think mine's pretty easy. I would like to have a cigar with Rick Rubin. I think it's pretty evident.
I guess I've had the weird pleasure of meeting like all my childhood heroes and all those kind of people. You know what I mean? So I guess I'd have to really dig deep and like go super personal. I'd maybe like to sit down as an adult with probably my grandparents and ask the questions I couldn't ask when I was 10 or 12, because you don't know, you don't have perspective, and now I do. So that would probably be it for me.
I really don't have an answer. I don't know. I can't think. I've never like idolized anyone really. So that's a really hard question to answer for me.
She probably doesn't want to say go back in time to sit down with a sexier version of me.
You've never been as sexy as you are right now, sir.
Oh, listen to you.
So my gut instinct, and after listening to a couple of these comments with the familial instance, that could bear something. The first instinct to me was Jim Morrison.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Sit down and have a fucking cigar with the lead singer of Doors. I think that he had a very, after reading his book a couple times, or the book written about him, whatever you want to call it, I think it would be very interesting.
He'd be like, Donnie, we're going to ride the smoke tonight. I think we should ride the smoke to the moon together tonight.
Amen.
Mine's a little personal, but really, I lost a good person many years ago that, through health issues. So for me, it's really like anybody that was in that scenario, I just want to be able to have that one more opportunity, to have a pull with someone that passed. And yeah, a bit of a shame. It was health related, really good friend of mine, and we don't get to have that time together anymore. So that would be mine.
Nice.
And he also owes me $20, so that would be the other thing.
Yeah, you got to get that shit.
They always say that time is the asset that we don't know what's 100%. In our bank.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
Taking advantage of every moment and trying to embellish and enjoy is yeah.
Yeah, especially when it's sudden. Like it just came out of nowhere too. It wasn't like it was a known entity, and I think it's tough in those scenarios because, like, if you know about it, you can sort of pretend to plan for it, I guess, in that instance. And we all didn't get that opportunity. So, yeah, that would be kind of cool. But I'd tell him I'd still want the $20 back because that would just be funny.
I want my $2.
It would just be funny at that point. That's kind of me. I'm kind of like that, but I'll be just like, yeah, it's kind of funny. But yeah,
I saw that our buddy Jordan said Bert Kreischer. And Jordan, if you want me to take my shirt off for one of my podcasts, I will. I mean, I'm not too. I can, if that makes you feel.
You should.
No? Oh, okay.
Save it for September.
There it is. Just do the Bert Kreischer episode. Y'all got to go shirtless. I'll tune in.
No. Nope. Nope.
I'm in. We only live once, man. Fuck it. Let's go.
I will say this. I live in East Tennessee, and the mosquitoes at this time are the size of hummingbirds. So I would have nothing left.
I'm sure our Florida boy has something to say about that. I'm sure their skeeters down there are pretty unbearable as well.
Yeah, and the rain.
All right, so question number 10, the final question. You can take a few minutes to think about this one. Whoever answers last has the best opportunity to think about it. It's my favorite question. What is the best piece of advice you have ever been given?
I can answer this pretty easily because I actually just talked about it the other day. When I was in an abusive relationship back in, I don't know, it was like 2014-ish maybe. Once I got the courage to leave him, he was friends with a multimillionaire that I never got to meet, but he somehow found out that I was a single mom and I got the courage to leave his friend. And he called me up and he spent about 2 hours trying to convince me to give him my bank account information. And I would not do it. I was just like, no way. Like, I don't take money from people. This is not happening. And after 2 hours on the phone with him, going back and forth and him trying to get me comfortable with it, he told me that sometimes someone's love language is, or the only thing that they can do is to give money. That's it. That they can't provide other things for people. And by denying their love language, you're denying them. And that really stuck with me. And I finally gave him my bank account information. And I woke up to $5,000 in my account. And he told me to not spend it on anybody but myself. So I put myself in real estate school, got my kids a bunch of clothes, but I did end up helping. I was running a boys' home at the time. And I gave some of my employees money because I knew that the pay was really bad. But I found out the reason why he did that was because he was dying of cancer. And I didn't know that. He didn't tell me he was dying of cancer. I just saw on Facebook one day that he was gone. And I realized in that moment why it was so important to him to give that gift. And it wasn't, I should have just said yes and not fought him because it's not about me. Sometimes it's about them and their acts of service. And that meant something to him. And I was too caught up in the fact that I'm just like, no, I can't do that. I can't take the money. When I really did need the money. I was a single mom. You know, I was on food stamps. I was running a boys' home. I absolutely needed that money. And my just stubborn self would not take it. And I've been able to take what he said to me and tell that to so many people who are sick, people who are dying, who have cancer, who have been in car accidents, who are single moms, who are, you name it. And they've taken money that has been offered to them simply because I gave them my story and how important it is to just put your walls down. And if someone offers that to you, just take it, because sometimes that is their love language. And that means everything to them, to just take the gift that they are giving you. So it doesn't matter. I mean, we're all strong people. We never want to take things from people like that, but sometimes that's what they have. This was a multimillionaire and I had no idea his story. And to him, that 5,000 was nothing. To me, it was everything. Why couldn't I just say yes? You know, my ego told me no. And I was so thankful that I learned years later what his true story was, and that he passed away and it was his dying wish to give back to everybody because he was so grateful to be so successful in life. And he did not want to die with those millions. He wanted to make sure that that money went to good people. And I was one of those people. So you never know who you're going to meet and who's going to help you. And you just need to take those gifts when they're given to you. Doesn't matter what it is.
Solid. Yeah. I guess mine, some version that I bastardized and condensed when I was speaking came from my grandmother. And basically, she told me a long form version of it's our job to live one life, but change many. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's probably it, because no matter what hand we're all dealt, we got to act like we wanted that hand, and we got to play it in a way that doesn't just help us, but helps everybody around us. And I guess that's the biggest thing. And today I catch myself, failing at that. And because my memory sucks, I forget people and names and faces, and I jack all these things up, and I don't want that for them. I don't want them to walk away thinking that I don't know who they are when maybe I truly didn't, but that's not the experience I want to leave them with. You know what I mean? I want to leave them with something good, and for them to walk away being like, shit, I'm glad I spent, 5 minutes dying with that guy. Because that's really, for the last 2 hours and 36 minutes, we've dedicated lifetime to everybody who's watching and everybody who's on here. And that should never go without saying, it's important. Mm-hmm. And I guess that came from my grandmother. So a version of that, live one life, change many.
And you've done that.
Thank you.
For 25 years, you've done that by giving to the whole world, and you still do it every day with your posts. And you're living by that for sure.
And thank you for coming back and doing that.
Yes.
Yeah. I truly wouldn't have done it at the time I did it without you guys giving me a push. So
I have an empty glass, but cheers to that.
Yeah, mine is it was an old manager of mine, a Scottish guy, who I could barely understand because that was the thing. But he took me aside one day, and it was just the simplest of words he said: "Your words are your meaning." Well, let that sink in for a second, because it can go a different way for many reasons. But he was like, every time you talk or speak or you interact with someone, they're basically going to interpret it either a good way or a bad way. And you've got to find the middle point of the words that you've put to someone for the situation you're in. And I've always looked at it that way, because what he was trying to say is, like, there's effectively, and there's actually a lot of things that came up recently on the web, like, it's like there's a lot of noise, and then you got to get to the point of what you're trying to say. So your words are your meaning, and it's always stuck with me ever since, like, I've worked for that guy, and it's incredible. I actually was just literally talking to him the other day online, but yeah, that never left me.
Yeah, I mean, mine's pretty simple. It's my grandfather, he was a big part of my life. And, you guys, we all joke, we talked about it tonight, that I'm known for not being, I'm a no bullshit kind of guy, right? I am what you get. And he said to me one time that the funny thing about character is you can't pick and choose when you have it. So be the person that you are, because it doesn't change.
Donnie, you got anything for us?
I do. There's obviously with everybody's input, there's amazing things that are rattling around in my head. The thing that instantly came up for me was something I heard in college was never settle. Never settle. Always be reaching for the next thing. We're driven people, and I think that creates our meaning, right? To get up every morning. We all deal with challenges and are faced with obstacles and hardships every day, and never settle. You're worth more. Keep going.
So mine would be, if we consume meaningless BS, our life becomes meaningless.
We just had this
well played,
conversation.
sir. Well played.
I don't know where I got that from.
I love
but
it. Well
it's great
played.
advice.
Well played, sir.
Did you guys not just see me on my damn phone? I was honestly trying to pull one of those up, and fucking Charles beat me to it. I'm so pissed.
So, guys, thanks so much for being on here. Let's go around the room real quick. We know that everybody has different things going on. You guys came together to build this fantastic piece of art, but you also have your own things going on. So, Lee, we'll start with you. What do you got going on in the future?
Well, we just released the Castle 919, so that just started shipping this week. It's been the bane of my existence, working by myself. Now everyone knows that I need them here, so I'm probably gonna have to give out a bunch of raises here soon. But no, brand new regular production is just starting to hit stores this week. So
excited to try it.
Well, I will say this: stay tuned to the Real Smoke podcast, because that cigar may be in something coming up soon. Cynn, Josh, what do you got coming up?
We just restructured Dissident and expanded it, actually. So we are now more independent, which allows us more freedom to do basically whatever we want. So we're super excited about that. So we have a lot more possibilities. It's going to take a bit to do one thing in particular, but we're looking at, we're in the works of possibly opening our own cigar factory. So that's going to take a while.
Wow.
But yeah, there's a lot of things in motion, a lot of huge things. There's so much going on behind the scenes right now with Dissident that I'm super excited for. So yeah, that and the PCA stuff, we're just really expanding. It's a lot on my plate right now, but we're getting there.
Well, you know where to come to when you're willing and ready to talk about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Donnie, got anything coming up?
Probably the most exciting thing for me is I was recently invited to Kentucky Bourbon Festival with my friends at Penelope. I'm super excited to be there and to help represent the brand.
Yeah,
I was about to say. So, tell us when that festival is. Do you know?
September.
September. I'll Google it real quick while Matt's talking.
All right. So, Matt, what do you and Penelope have going on? Because you get to speak for both of you.
I know, right? So, Penelope, we've got a lot of releases coming up for the rest of the year. So we're just very busy on that. And we're also planning 26, 27 right now. So part of our business is you have to get like all your barrel stocks in order. So we've been doing all of that planning. Personally, for me, I would love to get a vacation real soon. That would be nice. I'll be honest, that's on my wish list of things that I'd love to have. But I'm not going to see one. We're coming into our super busy season. But yeah, as Donnie said, our next major big event is Kentucky Bourbon Festival. So we're actually doing a first for the festival. We're actually, our booth or tent or whatever you call it is actually going to have an elevated cigar deck. So yeah, So that's going to be a lot of fun.
It would
Gonna
be
be
nice if there
amazing.
was like a podcast that came out there and did a live from that cigar deck.
Right. Yeah, wouldn't that be just like the best
Just
thing
saying.
ever? There you go. Just saying.
You're not
They
that
don't
far,
vote.
right?
I know, right?
No, Kentucky is where I grew up, so I know exactly where it's going to be at. So I've always wanted to go, just never got a chance to be there.
Bardstown, Kentucky,
Wow.
September
Bardstown.
5th through the 7th.
Nice.
This year it sold out in about 35 minutes. It was crazy.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
We are actually releasing we're releasing some really special barrels at that event this year. So a little teaser, there's going to be a 20-year product that we'll release at that festival for everyone to enjoy.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, if someone said to me back in, or Mike and Danny as well, like from 2019, 2020, oh yeah, you'd be releasing a 20-year product in 2025. I would probably thought they were insane, but apparently we are.
So since Mick said something about being a tequila drinker, can you talk about the other sample that I got to experience the other day at all?
Oh yeah, so
I hate to drag this out, but if he's a tequila drinker, that was fucking fabulous. That was fabulous.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I'm listening.
we're part of a
You
bigger
have my
family.
attention.
Yeah, so we're part of a bigger family. It's just the Luxco family, and in that world of spirits, there is it's called El Mayor. It's actually our tequila brand, but a sub brand of it's called Escasa. It's a new tequila. It's triple distilled. That's coming out. So it's really cool. The Gonzalez family runs their facility in Mexico, and it's all family run. So it's traditionally methoded. You know, it's all very clean and clear. So yeah, we have some family ties in the tequila business as well. And you never know, we might do some crossovers one day. Who knows?
Yeah, Mick, I'm not a tequila drinker. I've had tequila. I've drank tequila. I do not know tequila. This was fucking sensational. It was delicious.
So I will take it from what Mick has taught me. There's a difference between taking and drinking tequila that you drink to get just messed up on, and it's like whiskey. There's a difference between cheap whiskey and there's sipping tequila. And he has introduced me into some fantastic tequila that's great for cigars, that you sit back and you get the notes, the same kind of notes that you would get from a good whiskey.
I think the big thing for me is as I'm trying to learn more about tequila, because I think that it's a burgeoning brand, it's a burgeoning spirit, is the non-additive thing, and this tequila has three things in it. Escasos is what it's called, Mick. Keep an eye out for it. It's fucking delicious.
You definitely have my interest. I will say I've been drinking tequila for probably 15, 20 years now, and honestly, to me, like people that drink a Blanco whatever tequila, that's because they don't really like tequila. That they're mixing it with something they don't like tequila. Like if you want a tequila, you want a reposado, you want an añejo, you want something that's going to actually give you that flavor, that barrel aged. You know,
that Blanco that we had, I think might change your mind.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
That's the other one. So you might want
not-
that guy right there.
I'm not saying that Blanco doesn't have some good tequilas, but I'm saying that, like, for me, I want that
Character.
flavor. I want that depth, that character.
You want
absolutely.
that character, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's definitely some great ones out there. And you hit the nail on the head, man. Like the non-additive blue agave tequilas are the ones that you want to actually find. Like the ones that are putting all that junk in it. Like I used to be one of those people that would find the Don. I shouldn't say name brands, but anyway,
we know what you're talking about.
The
hand painted clay pots.
Yeah, and $200 bottles that okay, they're not terrible tequila, but they're all additives. Like it's all additives. There's nothing in there that you're tasting that is legit. So like anything that is 100%, like especially the Blue Weber agave, like it's unbelievable. But anyway. So, yeah, there's so many great tequilas out there. I'm on the lookout. And if you guys are producing it or involved in it, fuck yeah, I'm in. So, yeah.
It's not Penelope. It's Luxco that's involved with it. So,
either
but
way.
It's definitely under Matt's purview. So,
Matt, let me know. I'm in. I'm definitely in.
Gotcha.
So we should try to find that when we have Matt on the podcast and we enjoy some tequila and some cigars.
Matt has many. He's wearing a shirt right now that has a little P on it. He has many things that he is involved in. So I'm glad that you were actually on the podcast, Matt. Thank you for joining us.
Oh no, of course I wouldn't miss it for the world. I got to be with all the cool people here too. I'm not the cool guy. You guys are the cool people.
So I'll let Charles end it tonight. I'm gonna jump in here. I'm gonna honestly say, like, it was like watching a movie tonight. It's like I sat back for 2.5 hours and watched like the coolest movie ever, because like I had no clue. I had no clue how tonight was gonna go. I did not have many questions prepared because I did not know how to approach 5 people with a cigar bourbon brand. It was like one of the we've had some great names on here, and I'm not name dropping. I'm not saying like we're having the best podcast out there, but like we've had some amazing names on this show. This is probably my favorite show, man. We've had an amazing time. The depth of the backstory is what we go for every week, and it's something that we really try to bring out and showcase. And you guys have all done a phenomenal job, and I can't thank you enough for being on the show and really just bringing this to the forefront. And thank you for sharing your experiences with us. It makes it even more special to us.
Yeah, thank you.
So I will say this, that we are brand new. I mean, so brand new. I mean, Cynn and Josh has been a part of, whether it's been Ash Holes or TriStar or even in this, they have actually joined us in all the different adorations that I've been involved in. So I will say that in the podcast part of it, in the last year, because I mean, we're 9 months old, I've only been nervous twice. One was with a brand owner that in my head was, I guess, my person that I thought that was going to be the best. And I was seriously let down. And then it was tonight. I had no clue how things were going to go. I was so confused on how to process and produce everything. But understanding that, one, I got Mick on here. He's going to rein things in. Cynn and Josh, I've had you on here forever. Love you guys. But then had 3 unknown people. I mean, I've talked to Donnie before, but I've had 3 unknown people that on this show that I did not know how it was going to go. So I'm over here. I even walked in right before the show started and talked to my wife and said, all right, it's either going to be a great show or a shit show. Pray for me on one of them. We're going to figure out how it's going to go. So I will say it's like Mick said, it's like sitting back watching, a TV show. I've enjoyed the conversation. The hotbox questions was my favorite part, because I got to listen to you guys open up and talk about random stuff, and it was just a story. So I want to thank you guys for doing that. Want to thank, first off, got to thank Donnie. Donnie, you, if it wasn't for you pushing all this stuff together, this show would not be going on. Then I got to thank, Lee, Cynn, and Josh. If it wasn't for you guys being the people that they brought out to do this, we still wouldn't be here. And then Matt, if you wasn't involved in this, we wouldn't be here either. So without the 5 of you, this show would never have gone on. So I want to thank all of you for taking the time, one, to put out a fantastic product, 2, to bring us on board, somebody that's new, a group that's new, to actually talk about it first. Got to thank you for that one.
Yeah.
So love you guys. Thank you so much for doing this. I'm going to walk around the room really quick. Lee, tell everybody on here how they can find you, where they can find your stuff, all that wonderful stuff.
Yeah, you can find us nationwide. If you need help finding a retailer, you go to stolenthronecigars.com. Reach out to us on Instagram and Facebook. I respond to every message. So as these guys will tell you, they reached out to me on there. So cheers. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Cynn, Josh?
You can find me at Cynn Coburn, CynnCoburn on Instagram and all the socials. And Dissident is Dissident Cigars _official. And you can actually reach out to us personally as well. Our cigars are nationwide. Also, we respond to every message. Family, we create family all the time, and we'd like to be one-on-one with everybody. So reach out to us personally, and we will answer any questions you guys have, where to find the cigars, all that stuff.
Josh, I'm not leaving you out, bud, because we worked hard getting your ass back out in the public. Where can people find you?
Just at Joshua Coburn. Google my ass is probably the easiest way. You'll find whatever.
And he just got his Facebook back today after 3 years of them banning him. He got it back today. So pretty crazy. So you can find him on Facebook again.
So Matt?
Yeah, so you can find Penelope nationwide. We're in all states. It's at Penelope Bourbon on all social channels. If you want to follow me, it's at Bourbon Jeeper. That's who I am online.
Donnie, we're going to let you close it out because you were the cornerstone on getting this together. Oh, hush your face.
I will
hush
say
your
that
face.
I will confirm that all of these people will absolutely respond to you on social media, Instagram, blah, blah, blah. That's how I reached out to them. I sent them a letter and said, hey, whatever. We've went through that. I'm Donnie sent me. That's what I am. Donnie sent me. I want people to know that if I'm promoting something, I believe in it. So tell whoever you end up that Donnie sent me.
There you go. So, guys, if there's anything that we didn't ask or that you need to leave us with, the floor is yours. But after that, I mean, thanks, everybody. Lee, we look forward to having you on later in the year. Matt, we hope we can get you go ahead and scheduled in for something later in the year.
Sure.
Cynn, when you're ready to break all the news on all the awesome shit that you got going on, I hope you look at us and go, these rednecks from Tennessee are willing to listen to you. So we hope that you touch base with us. And Donnie, if you ever need anything from us, we're always here for you, brother.
I want to start, and I want to say I love this team. Matt, thank you for your trust, for your faith, for your help. Lee, Cynn, Josh, thank you for trusting me in this. It really means a ton to me. You don't understand how much it means to see this on the shelves and social media and people moving towards your brands. I love you guys.
Thank you.
Back at you. It was a pleasure. Thanks, everybody.
Likewise, man. Cheers.
What an awesome show, man. Hey, I think that's how we end it with you guys. But
all right.
Thank you for an amazing, amazing evening. We could have. I don't think we could have led this any better direction. It was just an amazing evening, guys. So thank you. We'll be in touch very soon with all of you, and we appreciate you greatly.
All right.
Thanks so much for everybody. We will talk to you soon. Have a great night.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
There we are. We're back. Holy shit, dogs.
Man. Dude, what a real episode, man. Like, seeing Donnie get emotional about it, seeing everybody, their parts that they played in it. Bro, it was fucking believable. What a great show.
So, I mean, when somebody asks, how do you kick off a season?
Season 3.
We just did textbook version of how to do that.
Man, how do we top this going forward? we got to come up with some shit.
you get a whiskey from one of the fastest, biggest growing whiskey companies in the world.
Yeah.
So you get that one. Then you get the people behind it.
Yeah.
Then you get the person who thought about it in his head, and then you get the person from the brand who said, "Let's bring it together."
Man, I did my research, and I knew Donnie played this part in it, but I didn't know how much of a part he played in it. Like he really put this whole thing together, and what a great dude, man. Like I'm super.
It was literally something that he felt in his heart that he wanted to do, and somehow he was able to bring it together. Greg jumps on here and says, "Banger kickoff to a new season." Hell yeah, Greg. I mean, Mitch jumps on here and says, great show.
Awesome.
I mean, guys, we are literally 35 episodes in. We are 9 months in. Is it 9 or 10? 10.
About 10.
10.
Yeah.
We're 10 months in, and we're getting this. Hell yeah. So,
and you know that. I mean, I feel that we're both the same, man. Like if we believe in something, we're going to support it full on. If we don't support it, like that is one of the best bourbons I've ever had. I know I'm kind of new to the bourbon thing, but fucking believable, especially with the cigar we smoked tonight. Like I don't think we could have picked a better cigar with it. It was unbelievable.
I did not want to drink as much. Yeah, same. Okay, same. Yeah. So, I mean, the more that I smoked the cigar that I was enjoying with this one, the better the cigar and the bourbon got. I love the bourbon. I love the cigar.
Yeah.
But together, my
we
God.
We picked the right cigar. I mean, I'm not saying there's a wrong cigar, but we definitely picked the right cigar.
See, I love the fact that they put the process into, let's not try to do a cigar or a whiskey that's going to match with every cigar, because they're right. It's never going to happen.
Yep.
And they said a medium-bodied cigar would match well with this.
100%.
I don't know what you got from the cigar, but I got a medium plus body cigar with this cigar.
I have it written down as a medium plus.
Yeah. And it matches well. And that's what I was saying earlier was, you know, when I started smoking the cigar and then started drinking the bourbon, one of the biggest thing that I started picking out was all the notes from, you know, the American high malt whiskey.
Yeah.
The notes that it brought out, I'm glad that I did not review the cigar while drinking a bourbon. The cigar would have been like a 98, 99, because everything that whiskey brought out worked perfectly.
Yeah, I'm a little scared with my score tonight because I think part of it is because of what I was drinking. I really do.
Cigars with Angel says, amazing way to start a new season. Norman says, heart. Banger kick off to a new season. So, let's see. What do we got going on next? We have a cigar review brought to us by Cigar Army. So, Mick's still riding a little bit. So,
I was just tallying. I'm good.
Okay, cool. So, guys, I will say this. We have a surprise for you at the end, like right after this one. We have kind of a bonus review as a thank you to a brand. So we're actually doing 2 reviews tonight, and we'll actually post 2 reviews next week or this week. So, but we are reviewing the cigar that we posted tonight. So, tonight's review is brought to you by Cigar Army. Cigar Army and Sanj Patel's Smoke Shop are teaming up to present Christmas in July, a Toys for Tots event. This event is happening on Saturday, July 26th at Sanj's Smoke Shop from 2 p.m. to 7. Your $100 ticket will get your hands on some premium cigars, catered food, and soft drinks. It's also a BYOB event, so feel free to bring your own favorite bottle. And if you haven't listened tonight, a good Penelope Cigar Sessions 1 is a great bottle to bring. Best part, proceeds go directly to Toys for Tots for their incredible programs that are helping kids in need. There will be raffles, swag for purchase, and a 50-50 drawing and more. It'll be a great way to enjoy the summer day, connect with the community, and make a real difference. Mark your calendar. Saturday, July 26th. Come out, light up, and give back. So tonight's cigar review is brought to you by the wonderful people at Cigar Army.
Yeah, I'm not sure if anybody saw, but they actually got their Instagram page back. So if you're not following them already, I can't believe it. I mean, honestly, but I'm glad they did, but I can't believe it because of all the crap we went through with ours. But
go check them out at Cigar Army 3.
Absolutely. Cigar Army 3. Please follow them. Check them out. They do some amazing things. All right. So I guess I'm starting this off, huh?
As always.
All right. Aroma from the body. I got barnyard. A little bit of oaky, kind of sawdust smell. Oaky. Earth. Leather. Aroma from the foot. I got barnyard, oak, leather. Taste from the cold draw. Black pepper, oak, a touch of cocoa, and this touch of sour note from the cold draw. First third notes. I got light earth, coffee, unsweetened cocoa, cashew, black pepper, leather, some baking spices. Retro, I got light black pepper and some dark fruit sweetness. Second, third notes. That's a big roach trying to crawl up my foot. I'm sorry. Distracted the shit out of me. Second, third notes. I got coffee, espresso, light earth, cocoa. Again, that nutty cashew taste. I got this weird, like the chewable vitamins flavor, a little bit on the back end. Black pepper, leather, retro black, light black pepper, and dark fruit sweetness. Final third notes. I got earth, espresso, baker's chocolate, nutty cashew, black pepper, touch of citrus, leather, baking spices. Retro, I got black pepper and dark fruit sweetness. Pre-lit experience, 18 out of 20. Flavor enjoyment, 14 out of 15. Construction characteristics, 28 out of 30. Smoke production and final thoughts, 32 out of 35. I would absolutely buy a box of these. I've had them in the past. I've just never rated one. And again, it could be a little bit because of what I've been drinking tonight, but it was spot on. I will say it stacked dimes the whole way through and was great construction. I had 0 touch-ups. Amazing stick. I gave it a final of a 92. You may be muted.
There we go. Here I'm back. Aroma off the body is manure and musty tobacco. Aroma off the foot, dark fruit, sweet tobacco, slight fruity funk. Taste off the cold draw, sweet tobacco. On the light, lots of black pepper spice. Into the first third notes up front are earth, black pepper, and a slight sweet note. On the retro, I get notes of black pepper, spicy. To me, the first little bit was spicy. Earth and charred oak. Draws fantastic. Burn is wavy. Ash is slightly flaky, but holds the third. Smoke is thick and oily with a long finish. Full-bodied, medium plus strength. Into the second, third notes up front are black pepper, coffee, slight dark chocolate, and still a sweet note that pops up. Retro is now a light black pepper, and all the spice notes have fallen off. More coffee, earth, and dark chocolate on the retro. Draw is still great. Burn and ash is still the same. Smoke is thick and enjoyable, and still a long finish. Full body, slightly full in strength. In the final third, most of the notes are dark and bold. Charred oak, espresso, earth, and a slight salty note at the very end. Retro is espresso, charred oak, followed by a dark chocolate and a black pepper. Draw and burn ash is still the same, full bodied, full minus in strength. It started to creep up into that full spot, but kind of calmed down. So, pre-light experience, I give a 19 out of 20. Flavor enjoyment, give it a 13 out of 15. Construction, I give it a 9 out of 10. Draw a 10 out of 10. Burn 8 out of 10. Smoke production, final thoughts. Smoke texture, 5 out of 5. Overall experience, 18 out of 20. Would I buy this again? Give it an 8 out of 10. Mine comes up to a 90. So if you take all of that, you go into a 91. So the Tatawahe Reserva K222 Broadleaf gets a 91 from the Real Smoke podcast. So great job to them. So, like I said, we do have a bonus because we do have somebody who is currently the longest running guest that we've had, which now has to be close to getting what Cynn's got, because she's got to be getting up there too.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to review the Silent Hero
1,000
Yard Stare. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were supposed to review that one on the show, but that did not happen because it didn't get here. And we told him as soon as we got it, we would. So I do believe we are probably one of the first podcasts, if not the first podcast, to actually officially review the 1,000 Yard Stare from Silent Hero Cigars. So we do have that one going on. So Mick, are you ready to review a second cigar?
I am. I do not have all of my notes because Devin and I shared a book the other night when I reviewed mine. But I will tell you, it was like a s'mores campfire taste through a lot of it. I had some raisin notes, some dark fruit notes, a little bit of leather. I'm not gonna. I don't have the book in front of me, but I know my score at the end of it was a 90, and I truly enjoyed the cigar, even though it's not my size, my favorite size. It just I know it's not my thing. I've said it before in the show, but it was a very enjoyable cigar. It punched you just when you needed it, and it was I gave it a 90. It was a great stick.
All right, so I did the same. I will say that on the let's see, let me grab my notes. On the light, toasted oak, slight salted peanut, slight pepper into the first. Notes up front are a lot of floral, cinnamon, and a sweet aftertaste. It was a weird cigar for me. I expected one thing and got something completely different. I kept getting that cinnamon sweet taste throughout the cigar, and it was
s'mores.
Yeah, s'mores. So it was one of those things where I was caught at the point of I don't know if I enjoy it or if I don't, but then I kept smoking it, and it was like I don't know if I enjoy it, but I got to keep smoking it. So it was great. Let's see. The retro is cinnamon, baking spice, vanilla. Draw slightly snug, sharp is the burn is sharp, ash is tight, and holds about an inch or so. You know, you can't ask for much more from a Lancero for the ash to hold for about an inch. Smoke is thick and buttery. That was one of the things I noticed the most about was that the smoke texture really lingered. It was so thick. Even though it was a tight draw, the smoke texture was so thick and so buttery that it was almost like eating soup. I mean, it was thick. Finish is long and sweet. Strength is about a medium. In the second third, I got a lot of floral notes, almond and hay. On the retro was still a lot more cinnamon. Got a bready, yeasty note. And then I started pulling out some vanilla and floral. So that sweet note became more of a vanilla, almost like a vanilla custard, but it was more vanilla than anything else. Final third was coffee, almond, and floral. The retro was coffee and floral with a little bit of nutty note. So it was a lot. There was a lot of the same notes, but then there was a lot of, every once in a while there was something new that popped up. So on the pre-light experience, I gave it an 18 out of 20. The flavor enjoyment, I gave it a 12 out of 15. Construction, great construction, gave it 9 out of 10. Draw, little snug, gave it a 9 out of 10. Burn, razor sharp the entire way through, 10 out of 10. Smoke production, I gave it a 5. It was excellent. Overall experience, 18 out of 20. Would I smoke it again? I would definitely add that into my rotation. Real Smoke Podcast. Well, I give this one an 89. So if you do the math on that one, the Real Smoke Podcast gives this one an 89.5. We round up. So the 1,000-yard stare from Silent Hero Cigars gets a 90 from the Real Smoke Podcast.
Perfect, man. Yeah, that vanilla you were tasting, I kind of interpreted as marshmallow, but yeah, it was absolutely perfect. I really felt that s'mores, that smoky s'mores taste, man, and it was solid the whole way through. The construction was absolutely great. I had 0 touch-ups on mine as well, so it was a great cigar. And props to Silent Hero and Banff, man. Great cigar.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because I mean, they put Silent Hero has been putting out some good cigars. Banff has been putting out some great cigars. So I love it. So what'd you give that one?
I gave it a 90.
90. And then I gave it a 89. And then so it rounds up to a 90. So I've got to write that down. If I don't, I will forget it. So
bonus
awesome.
review to
bonus
start
review
season 3.
Yeah, I mean, we told him as soon as we got those in, we would go ahead and give him a review. So, I mean, we talked about putting it off, but if we put it off, it would be around September-ish, October-ish. Christmas. Yeah. So it was one of those things that we should probably go ahead and get done out of the way. So I do not think that anybody else has reviewed that cigar, but if they have, I would love to know your thoughts. But I do think we are the first to officially review the 1,000-yard stare from Silent Hero Cigars.
Yeah, we do love Silent Hero and everything they're doing to give back to the veteran community. So anything we can do to help them and promote them. I know that cigar sold out very quickly, and for a good reason. Again, not my size, not that I prefer, but I can't say that I didn't enjoy it. I mean, it was a great cigar. Smoked very well. Construction was amazing. So congratulations, Silent Hero.
I will say that's one of the best things that I saw about that cigar was for a Lancero. The construction was fantastic.
Oh yeah, unbelievable. Yeah.
So I am going ahead and setting up the. Hold on. Here we go. There we go. I am setting up the giveaway. Tonight we do have a giveaway. That giveaway is going to be 2 gift cards from the Cigar Vault in Oakdale. It is 2 $25 gift cards. So it is a brand new month. So Mick, if you don't mind, go ahead and tell everybody why a brand new month is important.
All right, so we made the decision a little while back that if you win this month, so it's now July, you cannot win again in July from the same person that's giving something away. So if you win a Cigar Vault gift card tonight, you cannot win one again until August. Same thing for Beard Apothecary or anyone else who's giving anything away. You win once a month. And we keep rolling on. If your name's drawn twice, we spin again.
All right. So this is a brand new month, so anybody can win anything. So tonight, once again, we are giving away 2 gift cards to the Cigar Vault. So as you can see, we have everything pulled up. Remember, you have to be here live to win, and you have roughly 30 seconds to let us know that you're here by typing in the words "I'm here." Everybody else, hold off until they say that. That way we do not miss their comments. The last thing I got to say, and I got to say it every week, is StreamYard does say that if you type in the hashtag of whatever it is, you are 100% entered in to win that prize, even though you do not see your name. So trust and believe that everything is good here. So for the first gift card, we have, let's see who wins.
Oksana.
Oh, Oksana.
All right.
All right, girl. If you're on here, you got to let us, or whatever it is, you have to let us know on here. She says, I'm here. And look at that.
Winner.
She's wearing that. Look at that hat. Rebellion Cigars. I wonder where
looks
she
like a
got that
Rebellion.
hat.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Oksana, do me a favor. Reach out to Mick on either, well, preferably the Real Smoke podcast page. We need your mailing name, address, phone number, and email address. Send that all to him. Get that taken care of. And he will get that out to Cigar Vault. She says she loves her hat. We love that you have that hat. I mean, it looks better on you than it does Jordan. Come on.
Yeah. Big Bear.
Big Bear. All right. So going into drawing number 2, this is for the other one. What do we got tonight?
Hey, Lou's on there. That's awesome.
Greg, brother, please let us know that you're on here. You have about 30 seconds. That's good.
She makes that hat look good, he says.
Greg says he's not here and we should give it to somebody else. That's what he says.
Congratulations, Greg. Send me the normal stuff. Don't forget the urine sample this time. Let's go.
Yep. So mailing name, address, phone number, and email address. Robert says congratulations to everybody. So congratulations. So we do have a few things left to do. We do have some cigar news, and it has been rebranded. It's no longer Cigar News.
Let's go.
But what is it? We do have Meanwhile in Memphis, and we do have the closing of the show. So please do me a favor and stick on here. BS, I'm here and you know it. Yes, Greg, we know that you're on here. We love you, and we love the fact that you're on here. Do all the stuff that you're supposed to do and send it to Mick. Because if you send it to me, I ain't gonna send it back to him. I'm gonna give it to somebody else.
I think I already got it. I think I already got it from Greg. We're good.
Dang, he's fast. Cigars Dude Podcast says, LOL Angel. Hey, Cigar Dude Podcast. Guys, if you are not watching Cigar Dude Podcast,
you should be.
What's wrong with you? I mean, you guys really should be on there watching them. I mean, I will say, if you weren't watching us, you should be watching them. So go ahead and check out theirs.
I only subscribe to like 5 things on YouTube, and Cigar Dudes is one of them. So
I have a bunch, but there's about 5 things that I actually listen to weekly. Cigar Dudes, 100%. I mean, they don't talk about us on their show, but we talk about them. Just saying. Simple little bit of help. No, I'm just kidding. But guys, if you guys aren't listening to Cigar Dudes podcast, go listen to all of them. They absolutely do a fantastic job. Why did Mick say I had to send nudes when I won? There's a reason. He just wanted to see it. Just do it.
Jeez, stop
Nike
asking
said
questions,
it best.
Rob.
Just do it. Quit questioning the process. You know what he wants. All right, so we have a lot of people on here. So we got rid of all the prizes tonight. So we do have cigar news. So I did say the cigar news has been kind of revamped a little bit. It has. Yeah. It is now called the Smoke and Oak News. It is going to be a little bit of smoke, and it's going to be a little bit of oak. So in other words, you're going to get cigars and whiskey.
We are bridging that gap tonight. I mean, we're starting that
We
tonight,
are. So I figured it would be the great time to do that. We've got Penelope whiskey. We had a bunch of great cigar brands. So why not go ahead and start the Smoking Oak News. So, Smoking Oak News is brought to you by our brother over in the TriStar Herf crew, 13 Knives.
Hey guys, this is Robert over at 13 Knives, and I want to wish you a very happy Freedom Awareness Month from Middle Tennessee. And I want to tell you a little bit about the Bulldog Cigar Cutter. Ooh, pretty. Which I make in the shop right behind me. All my materials that I use are sourced right here in the United States of America. American made. America. I use 1095 hard carbon steel purchased right here in the great United States. I do not use foreign materials in my products. You know who else doesn't use foreign materials in their products? People like Betsy Ross, George Washington, and Davy Crockett. They did not use foreign stuff in their products. So if you love America and American-made things, come check me out on Instagram. XIII_knives_ on Instagram. That's 13 Knives on Instagram. I'm Fred Durst, and I approve this message. Keep rolling, rolling, rolling.
I'm just saying, I absolutely love that spot. So
it's my favorite video of the year.
So you have to notice that when he said he is Fred whoever, I had to put no, he's not, because I have to keep it legal. So just 100%.
It's my favorite video of the year that we've done, like that anybody's done for spots, man. It's everybody, all of our other sponsors, amp it up a little bit because that is fucking awesome.
So I will say that if I have the time, it'll actually next week, if he uses that one, that it'll actually bleep out the last name on there, just because I don't need a legal issue. Let's just say. But anyways, everybody go check out Robert Courtner over at 13 Knives. It's it's got to be the best cigar knives that you've ever bought. I mean, Mick likes to try to tempt fate and cut his own fingers off. I'm just saying, it is one of the sharpest steels that you ever find. So go check that out. So got a little bit of cigar news. I'm excited to bring this one out because I was in Charleston last week and at my favorite shop in the Low Country. So it's Cigars on Maybank. They have a brother shop, sister shop, Cigars on 17. But he is good friends with the people over at Crown Heads. And so he sent me a message and said, hey, the new Crown Heads, Broadway, and all that stuff is finally hit. I show up at a shop. It's still not out of the box. He literally calls the people in the shop and says, open the box for him and give him what he wants. And it's like, hell yeah. So, Cigar Coop. Go check out Cigar Coop. Crown Heads Las Calaveras L 2025 announced. Las Calaveras has announced the 2025 edition of the annual Las Calaveras series. This year, for the first time since 2018, and only the second time in the series, the Las Calaveras is highlighted by a Mexican San Andreas wrapper. John, go ahead and correct me. I'm good. All right, moving on. Las Calaveras was first launched in 2014 and has been released annually. Las Calaveras pays homage to those who have passed away over the past year. The cigars are not meant to be mournful symbols, but rather a celebration of the lives of those who have passed away, serving as a reminder of those who are no longer with us. Consistent with previous releases, the brand on each Las Calaveras cigar features the initials of 4 deceased individuals. What's unique about the cigar's Las Calaveras release, commented Crown Heads President John Huber, is that not only are we utilizing San Andreas cover leaf, but it's a color grade that most people would not immediately associate with San Andreas or Mexican wrapper. The selection was a mid-grade priming wrapper which resulted in a lighter Colorado color for the cigar, as opposed to the most common darker Maduro shade typically associated with Mexican wrappers. This particular wrapper complements the blend and allows for coffee, espresso, and toffee notes to come to the surface that can typically get lost under the pepper and earth profile that the darker, higher primings wrappers yield. In addition to the San Andreas wrapper, the Las Calaveras 2025 consists of Nicaraguan binders and fillers. The cigar will be released in 4 sizes: a 5x52, a 6x54, a 5x56, and a Petite Lancero, and a 6.5x40. The Petite Lancero will be available as a part of the 4-count sampler, featuring one of each of the Las Calaveras sizes. So you're looking at an allocated box of 1,500 boxes per size, with an additional 3,000 sampler boxes. Prices range anywhere from $14.25 to $16.25 per cigar. The sampler is priced at $57.95 per sampler. So, as somebody who really follows the Las Calaveras line, I am super excited to get this one. And the color is like, it's almost like a forest green color. So I know everybody's always wondering what the new color is.
Okay. Yeah, I think that 2023 was my favorite, but they've all been amazing. They all play a special place, and they're all great cigars. But I think the 2023 was probably my favorite.
I will say that I've enjoyed a lot of them. There's been a couple of years that needed to rest a year or so, 6 months or so. But after rest time, they're so good. So it may be the 2023. It's either 22 or 23 that needed another good 6 months of rest. And once that happened, they opened up so well. But if given time, all the Las Calaveras has always been good.
Yeah.
So I picked this one just for you.
Okay.
I don't know. Are you a McAuliffe fan? I enjoy the McAuliffe cigars.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love them. All right. Yeah. So McAuliffe has a new cigar.
Okay.
Go to Half Wheel. Check this out. McAuliffe adds the blue and the red, which I enjoy, both blue and the red, in a box pressed Toro. A Smoke Inn exclusive.
Oh, shit.
Our family over at Smoke Inn, who sponsors the show for the Cigar of the Month Club, they now have an exclusive of the blue and the red in a box press. There you go. Last year, McAuliffe Cigar released a box press Toro in its black line as a Smoke Inn exclusive. Now, McAuliffe is doing the same for 2 other blends in the color series. McAuliffe Blue and Red softbox pressed Toros in a 6.5 by 54 box pressed Vitola, packaged in 10-count boxes. The cigars are made at the McAuliffe Cigars SA factory in Nicaragua, and each cigar has an MSRP of, what do you think?
For a 10-count box, I would
guess. just singles. The
singles.
red or the black, box pressed. How much?
I'd say 14 apiece.
$9.
Holy fuck, I'm in.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Each cigar has an MSRP of $9. Both cigars feature the same blend as the rest of the cigars in their respective lines, meaning that the McAuliffe Blue soft box press Toro is made up of Mexican San Andreas Sumatra wrapper covering an Ecuadorian Habano binder and fillers from grown in the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. The red is going to incorporate Mexican San Andreas Habano wrapper covering a Pennsylvania broadleaf binder and fillers from Mexico and Nicaragua. We are thrilled to partner with Abe and Smoke Inn to introduced the exclusive Vitola McAuliffe of McAuliffe in various lines, said Dan Thompson, President McAuliffe. The remarkable response we've received for this blend is so quick it speaks to its quantity. Sorry about that. Working with Smoke Inn has been a positive experience, and we're excited to bring the customers a distinctive addition to the McAuliffe lineup.
Wow.
You're looking at broadleaf.
Yeah.
You're looking at broadleaf in Mexican.
Unbelievable.
In a box press, under $10, $9.
I am super interested. Yeah, that's right up my alley, man. That's awesome.
So go to Smoke Inn and go find that one. So last one, whiskey news. Ooh, whiskey news. So if anybody knows me, they know I'm a 100% fan of the brand Chattanooga whiskey. If you look up here, and I'll tilt the whiskey camera up, everything up there is Chattanooga whiskey. From everything from the stuff that they first started with the first distilled batch that they have, all the way up into what they have right now. So I'm a huge fan of Tennessee whiskey. But I don't know if I want to try this one. Let's find out. Chattanooga Whiskey releases experimental batch 044, a bourbon barreled limoncello.
I'm interested.
Okay. Chattanooga Whiskey announces that its newest release in their award-winning experimental single batch series, batch 044, bourbon barreled limoncello. Infused just in time for summer, this marks the third rendition of the distillery's evolving range of citrus-based cellos, which is made up of 100% real whiskey infused with all natural ingredients. Every experimental batch is an opportunity for our distillers to say something new. And while we never really repeat the same idea twice, our distillers are open to revisiting the reimagination of a handful of concepts. First came our limoncello 2023, then came our citricello or cello in 2024. Now we have our limoncello 2025. Made with the distillery signature barrel 91 mash bill and over 130 pounds of citrus peel, this is the first time the company has utilized 100% column distilled whiskey in a liquor, which they say accentuates. I can't speak like you tonight. The bright fruity floral notes from the infusion of lime peel, lemon peel, and galanta root. This is going to be bottled in an 83.2 proof, and you're going to find it starting at the distillery only July 3rd, and it's going to go for $44.99 a bottle. So they're doing a whiskey that is citrus lime based. So I have yet to try anything like that. But
it's interesting. It's completely outside of what you think from a bourbon company. Like that's awesome. A whiskey company. It sounds interesting. It sounds like a summer drink that you could blend and have fun with. So yeah, I'm interested.
Let's see. We got a couple comments on here. By the way, Cigar and Whiskey News is brought to you by 13 Knives. Go check Robert out. Some of the best stuff.
Oh yeah.
Why? Let's see. Why did Mick? Okay, so we already covered that one. Charles and Mick, you better get on Randy to give you a shout out. You would think John would say something. I don't expect anybody to do anything. We just talk about the podcast and the shit that we listen to and we love and we enjoy. And Cigar Dudes, 100% part of it. I don't miss it. I'm not on here to say watch us over somebody else. I will say publicly that every week or sometimes twice a week, I watch Cigar Dudes podcast. I love that shit. They have great people on. The people on there, Randy, John, everybody on there, Ish, great people. Love to watch them. If you're not watching us, I pray that you're watching Cigar Dudes go do that.
Yeah.
Cigar News Podcast says, I had to pee. What'd I miss? You probably missed the toilet because you're getting old and can't see it. Just saying. Cigars with Angel Randy that you don't give a shout out on your show like they give a shout out to you on here. Just saying. Not saying anything. We love you.
Yeah.
It has a fault line as a rapper. Unique choice. Take that. There's your fault line. Just saying. Angel, we'll have a chance. Change that then. Sure. Whatever. Cigar McAuliffe is definitely a budget-friendly cigar. Enjoy the black and the red, and it's nice. I love the black. The red is good. Purple is my favorite color, so I was hoping the purple would be even better. But I would say the purple is my least favorite out of the grouping. So yeah,
I like red and black are pretty close for me, honestly. But purple did not meet what I hoped it would.
I really want you need to go to Smoke Inn and get you some of the red and black in a box press. I would love to see what you would think about that.
I'll buy us both some. We got it.
There you go. So we do have one little bit left to do, and it is Meanwhile in Memphis. So one thing I will say is this: we do have a couple of songs to play because we got to do. But Meanwhile in Memphis is sponsored by Hayes Gray Cigars. So next week, or probably later in this week, next week, Hayes Gray Cigars is a sponsor of our Hat Palooza for this week. We are bringing it back. So if you are somebody, whether you're a cigar brand, a whiskey brand, or an accessories or beard care or whatever product, if you have a lid and you want to enter in, what we do is you give us two hats. I wear one to rep it on the show. The other one gets sent out to somebody who wins it. We do a raffle kind of thing on Instagram where all they got to do is comment and stuff like that. And we get your product out to everybody else. So this coming week, Hayes Gray Cigars is going to be that one. I am wearing this hat right here, and you are getting the decked out all black mesh trucker with the Hayes Gray Cigars.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Love it. So check that out. Make sure you pay attention to what we got going on. But before we start Meanwhile in Memphis, we got to say hello to the sponsors of Meanwhile in Memphis. Hayes Gray Cigars.
It's not just about cigars. It's about honor, brotherhood, and legacy. Forged in fire, lit with purpose, for those who serve and those who stand ready. This is Hayes Gray Cigars. This is War Dogs. Veteran owned, we got your sticks.
Meanwhile in Memphis, it's happening again. Meanwhile in Memphis, the sky turns wild. Stray gators and poodles running free and wild. Some guys wearing mud boots with a suit on trial. Meanwhile in Memphis, let's stay here a while.
And let's do it. Meanwhile in Memphis.
Oh yeah. I will say before I go into this, "We got your sticks" is probably the best fucking tagline ever. Like
100%.
Even my wife said when the cigars came for our samples and stuff, that she's like, that is the coolest line ever. So props to you guys. I will hopefully see you Saturday. I'll be in touch.
I need lots of pictures. We got to post that shit.
I got you, bro. I got you. All right. So this one's just a kind of a quick headline that caught my eye that I thought was pretty amusing. Meanwhile in Memphis, a car that flipped over in front of an East Memphis car repair shop was believed to have been stolen, police say. A car that flipped over in front of an East Memphis car repair shop was believed to have been stolen hours earlier. Memphis police say the reported crash just after 4:30 a.m. near the intersection of Poplar Avenue. Fox 13 arrived to find a Kia Soul flipped over on its top in the parking lot of the Firestone Garage and Repair Center near the intersection. In a report, police say the car struck a pole and a Firestone garage door while it flipped over. MPD said the Kia driver took off from the scene, and they aren't sure why. Because he stole the fucking car. Police said
don't know why y'all chasing me. I don't know.
Police said they later found the owner of the Kia Soul, who said she had parked her car around midnight near her home in Park Terrace Avenue. And she did not know it was stolen until the officers showed up. So obviously it was stolen. It's just kind of funny that they wrecked in front of a repair center. Yeah, apparently it was stolen. The guy's still in the run. And yeah, that's it.
Meanwhile in Memphis, it's happening again.
All right, so this one's kind of...
I know where he needs to go.
Where?
Alligator Alcatraz. Just saying.
We won't go there. All right, so this one made its rounds on TikTok before it became actual Memphis news. A mystery casket was found at a Memphis corner store. Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis police were called to Orangebound convenience store after someone reported seeing a casket in the parking lot on Monday. According to people in the neighborhood, the casket was outside the Speedy Corner store located at Park Avenue and Grant Street for several hours before the police were called. I do have a picture here. I'm not sure how good it's going to show up, but I have a picture here. Yeah. Police were called. They were concerned that there was a body inside. There was not a body inside. It ended up being empty. It was a practical joke. No one knows who put it there, but the one guy said, "This is nonsense. Somebody get the police to the Speedy Corner store. I don't know if there's a body in there." The police showed up. The guy said he was heartbroken and sad that someone played this kind of joke in the wonderful city of Memphis.
Oh, really? You're surprised? Out of everything that goes on in Memphis, you're surprised?
He's surprised that somebody dropped a casket to make a joke. All right, so here's my final one.
I would think that was like Thursday.
Yeah. It don't really surprise me that much. So here's my final one. I left this for a reason, just for the title. Man, you like the pause? Man shot cousin several times in the penis during argument. I can't even finish this one. Memphis, Tennessee. A man has been charged with attempted second-degree murder after allegedly shooting his cousin multiple times in the penis during a heated argument Thursday morning. The victim. Oh, this is great. The victim was transported to the hospital in critical condition. MPD says. This man was later booked by Shelby County Jail after he turned himself into police. The incident happened just after 3 a.m. on the 3600 block of Towns Avenue near Nutbush Avenue, which seems kind of ironic. Officer,
he got his nut shot off by Nutbush.
Officers said they recovered a 9mm handgun at the scene. Police said the victim was shot in his hip, buttocks, and about 12 times in the penis and groin area. The guy turned himself in. He's awaiting trial next Tuesday. He said it was a heated argument over some family issues.
What kind of family issues? You took my cousin
12 times in the penis. I don't know.
You slept with my cousin. I was sleeping with her first.
I don't know, but yeah. That's
you know what wasn't said?
gotta give him that huck too and spit on that thing. You get me?
True story. True story.
Oh, she's more like hawk to it, and I'm gonna shoot on that thing.
12 times.
12 times. He did it to himself. I promise.
Ooh. It's rough, man. Welcome to Memphis.
Welcome
Meanwhile
to
in
Memphis.
Memphis, it's happening again. Meanwhile in Memphis, the sky turns wild. Stray gators and pools running free and wild. Some guys wearing mud boots with a suit on trial. Meanwhile in Memphis, let's stay here a while.
Yeah.
I have nothing to add to that one. All right, so this is 3 hours, 48 minutes. Probably, I think we may have just beat Pete.
Yeah, that was our longest one ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So I will say that it's kind of hard to do a short podcast with 6 people involved. Yeah. But I will say this. Everybody who's jumped on here and been with us this whole time, thanks so much. We need your help. Go out there and share this shit with everybody. Our Instagram is rocking. We cannot thank everybody enough for all the Instagram stuff. What we do need your help with is all the other platforms, whether it's Facebook, Rumble, YouTube. Go help us out, because bigger companies are looking at those platforms. They're not looking at our Instagram. They're looking at the other platforms, whether they want to be involved with us or not. So with your help, we can get, other bigger, larger companies on board. So we want to thank everybody for jumping on here and being a part of this. Thanks for, oh my God, Cynn, Josh, Lee, Donnie, Matt.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Fantastic.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
I know you already got Lee on board. I'm already in talks with Cynn about other things. You need to get Matt on board for going to start working on that one. But huge thanks to everybody who jumped on here tonight. Absolutely enjoyed tonight. 7 for those of us who can count. I don't know what he was saying, but 7. He says 7. Rob says 7 because he knows his numbers. He's like Count Dracula. All right. So, Mick, I will let you leave everybody with some lovely words of knowledge before we jump off here.
Man, I think I've said it all already. We truly enjoyed it tonight. It was like it was I loved watching the story unfold and just hearing the backstory of something incredible come to light. So we truly enjoyed tonight. I'm glad for everybody that tuned in and stuck with us through another really long show. But we had a
sorry
blast.
about that, guys.
No, we had a blast, and it was a great evening. And take time this week and smoke a cigar with someone you love, and look for those Haze Gray pictures coming hopefully this weekend. So much love, everybody.
All right, couldn't say any better than myself. But guys, have a great evening. We will see you guys next week with Stefan Lambert of Lambert Cigars, and we will be smoking one of his cigars. So thank you, everybody. We appreciate you. We love you from the bottom of our heart, because without you, we wouldn't be here. So have a great night, and we will see you guys next week.
Thank you for tuning in. The Real Smoke Podcast makes us all grin. You light us up, you keep us strong. Cheers to you, we raise the song. Conversations deep, the stories fly. Ashes fall, with spirits high. The gas roll in, the pens throw. You've kept us burning, don't let it go. Thank you for tuning in. The Real Smoke Podcast makes us all grin. You light us up, you keep us strong. Cheers to you, we raise the song. From the flame night. You're part of the glow, you're part of the light. Mick and Charles with a laugh and a grin. This flame burns